So, we're in a bit of an interesting place where we left off last week. It's only our third session so far. And we started with a fantastic circus show. Marred largely only by, your average Pathfinder murder investigation. A ringmaster, Myron Thunder, was found dead, and we've been kind of investigating who has it out for the Circus of Wayward Wonders ever since. After exploring the grounds, dealing with some snakes, some strange water elementals, and finding an errant backpack that appeared to belong to a worshiper of Gozreh, we ended up here, gathered around the campfire with a couple of grigs who had been fiddling the evening away around the campfire, much to the chagrin of our circus allies, who are now just strewn throughout this field on the side of the creek, exhausted after being forced into a very rigorous dance for, until we came back and found them. And it was then, of course it was then, that this woman, introducing herself as Ariad, an arbiter of Gozreh, made her presence known, with a swarm of rats spreading throughout the grass, not to mention the enormous one right in front of her, just plodding along, and the weird, honorary third she seems to have as a cape. This little halfling seems to be at the crux of everything. It was not long before, pretty much inevitably, we realized this was going to have to come to blows. So as we start our session today, we're pretty much just going right into initiative. Why is Arbus already on here? You can pre-roll initiative, that's interesting.
I don't want to roll initiative.
I kind of like that 26 I saw, though.
Too bad.
Let Arbus have it.
The one that you rolled 3 hours ago?
Oh, probably. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
shit.
while I was setting.
It's been a while.
Ooh, I thought that was going to be a natural one as I saw that one rolling across.
That is bullshit. I had even selected. Oh, you want the? Why didn't it roll on the screen? I just selected it too.
Didn't know like you.
You fool.
Oh, good news is my new dice seem to like me.
It's not putting me on the initiative table.
Well,
Click your character name, your character token first.
I did. That's what I'm saying.
then I will add you
Oh,
manually.
I
Oh,
think
it got it. It got it.
I think I may have accidentally rolled perception.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just rolling
Whoops.
perception.
Oh,
instead of
yeah, you
initiative.
did.
You rolled the
Oopsie
exact,
poopsie.
you rolled the exact same thing almost, though.
That is the first one.
Alrighty. And then we have a little bit more. I gotta roll my rat. I gotta roll so many initiatives at the start of encounters. He's got 14. Gotta roll my swarm of rat.
I don't like that.
He's got a 16.
Quick,
Alrighty.
someone big and scary, get in front of me.
Let me post this
Yeah,
over
first.
here. Yeah, you are in fact up first, Ara.
Oh, that's a first.
As this is all devolving
Oh,
here.
yes.
Ariad cackling, motioning forward with her staff as the large rat bares its fangs and the swarm of them carpeting the grass around you turn nearly as one to flock towards the group of you. It's clear she isn't really too interested in boasting any longer. What do you want to do?
Well, I want to start this off with me moving away from everything. So I think I'm just gonna move right here. That's 25, right?
There's
Yeah.
a little ruler thing you can use.
Yeah, there is, and you've told me this before, and I am computer illiterate.
You can
so-
also just count squares. It's perfectly fine. But yeah, that's 25 feet.
Sweet, I'm good at guessing. Okay, guess for that. But then I'm going to cast Fireball on Ariad.
Fireball.
Sorry, elemental.
I don't think you can slow down there, buddy.
What, you're saying I'm not level 6 yet?
Aramed. I don't know that a fireball's coming out,
Well,
but a produce flame perhaps.
it's a lot smaller. It's actually elemental motion, or fling,
Okay.
or whatever the focus spell is. I'm just gonna go ahead and toss that out there.
So
'cause
that's
it
just
is-
the single action one, right?
Yep. So elemental toss. With a 22 to hit.
You said this is at the druid herself, at the halfling?
Yeah. Yeah. At the
22 will
halfling.
hit.
Sweet. So it's 5 fire damage.
Alrighty. And,
And then-
this little handful of fire hits her as she motions the rats forward, singeing a bit of her cloak. And she turns after this command towards you. You still got one action left, though.
I'm gonna get my sling out as my final action. I have a little tiny slingshot.
Okay. So, as you ready that, she looks down at you, probably not even having noticed you amongst the group here before, because you are relatively small. It's just almost in confusion. What is this? This perversion of nature that stands against its own will! And raises up her free hand, not gesturing towards you so much as she just kind of sweeps towards the campsite as a whole, as she incants out a spell. Planta Ratio! And all of the grass around the area, the grass and the shrubs and everything, erupt up from the ground in a massive, entangling bramble. So I need everybody to make me a reflex save.
Me also.
Oh, not you, actually. You're on top of the wagon. Right, you climbed up on top of the wagon. You're okay. It does not reach you.
7.
Oof.
That's
Okay.
about it.
Woof. So, everybody fails. So, as this all winds up around your ankles and your legs, you'll take a -10 status penalty to your speeds, as it's difficult to pull your way through this grass here. And Arabis and Ara, you are wrapped up and entangled entirely. You're completely immobilized.
Oh boy.
That's rude.
And as that completes, she still just stands there watching as all of the rats on the ground are just zooming into this bramble she's created. What hope do you think you have, standing not against just the world you live on, but the gods themselves? Just gloating.
She's kind
Her
of
third
full of
action.
herself.
Lizard man.
Okay, so how tall are these caravan?
Not very tall, probably about
wagons.
10 feet to the top of them.
10 feet, you say? So, if I were to, how do you work together with people? Like, if I wanted to do something with Zerg,
You want to aid someone, basically?
yeah.
Is that-
If we
well-
could like do something together, like if I was to be like, Zerg, let's tip over the caravan, and run towards the caravan that was over next to the woman, not the one next to her, but the one further, and maybe it would tip over 10 feet, squish her like a big.
Okay. What you would do is it is aid. So you would is ready in action as 2 actions to aid somebody else who does something. You'd basically need to get to that wagon and then have 2 actions left to brace up against it and ready to push when Zerg gets there.
Okay, so I will, I guess, run a little bit back, toward along the roof of the caravan and leap where it's not entangled, where there's not all these bushes and whatnot, and sprint over to the caravan, kind of winking at Zerg as I run by.
So where are you jumping to exactly?
I was gonna run back. I can't get through this because it's a solid wall. But
Oh, right.
like along here,
Oh, you
And
want to kind of
then-
back up and then take a running start and go.
Well, no, just run back so I can get around and run back down here.
Oh, okay.
Or at least
oh,
kind
okay.
of-
I thought you were going around the other side of her. I see. So
No,
around
no,
to your right,
just to this side.
down to this green wagon, to Tulip's wagon.
Yeah, just so I can get down there and then just ready to brace against it.
Can you get there as in one stride?
What is 25 feet? Let's see here. I'm not exactly sure how leaping off things works.
So you're just hopping down 10 feet off this wagon intentionally. That's not really going to stop you or anything, but I think it's going to take you at least two stride actions to get over to
okay.
the wagon. So you can try to push
Okay.
over yourself, but you don't have enough time to get there and ready for Zerg to come help you.
Okay, well I guess I could try it. I'll start tipping it off balance, so he gets the idea.
All right, make me an athletics check. So the strongest man alive can come over and do things. I see.
Yeah.
Smart.
Okay, so you want an athletics check?
Yes.
Okay, athletics check. 24.
The strongest man alive is already there.
24. I mean, it's a decently sized wagon, but
But I'm not
it's
trying
mostly...
to lift it. I'm just trying
Yeah,
to.
you're trying to tip it over, and it's mostly empty because you guys have just finished a show. Like, Mr. Tickles isn't in there, none of her equipment or the cage is in there. It's a mostly empty wooden wagon. I would say a 24 absolutely tips it over. So, roll me, let's say 2d10 damage
Okie dokie.
as you flip this towards Ariad.
Oh! Yes! Lizard Man!
The strongest man
20.
alive.
That's 2 tens, boys!
Wow!
All right, and then what is your class DC? I'm gonna give her a basic reflex save
My class DC.
instead of
let's
making
see
you make
here.
an attack roll, because it's kind of on her to dodge this.
My class DC is 18.
All right, and she is, as she sees this thing tipping over towards her. Holy crap!
Her and the rat. Does the rat get hit? I can't actually see.
The rat's up here. It's not gonna land
Oh,
on
okay,
the,
okay,
the
okay,
rat,
okay.
but she is going to succeed. But she's still going to take half, so she's still going to take 10 damage as this big wooden wagon tips over on her. And it's part of the map, so I can't like move it really.
Well, it's not there anymore. Well,
It's-
side.
Let me do this here. Get us some slight map modifications. So this wagon is like here now.
Cool.
I'll just
Okay, yeah.
kind of scribble this area. That's the wagon. That's that crappy rectangle's a tipped over wagon.
How much
And,
damage did we do to Tulip's wagon?
As this falls over on Ariad, and she shrieks, tumbling out of the way, still taking a big brunt of the hit, as she waves towards the rat next to her to go around after Lizardman. Selwyn.
And I would look back at Zerg and raise an eyebrow.
I'd see Lizard Man run over and tip that wagon over. And the first thing I'll do is go, woo! Nature 0, Civilization 1! And from there, sparks will crackle from my hands, and I'll use a electric arc against the giant rat in Ariad.
Okay.
EC 17, I believe.
Alrighty. So Ariad.
EC 16.
These are 16. Ariad is going to succeed as she is both pretty small and fairly agile and already largely tumbling out of the way of a frickin' wagon hitting her. The giant rat is also a rat and is also relatively quick. He is going to succeed as well, so they're both going to take half.
They take 3 damage each, and I'll give an evil stare at the rat, and I'll try to like just do like the gestures like, oh, I'm big and scary, you're a tiny rat, and I'll do an intimidate check.
Okay, fair. That's a -4 because the rat
Yes,
doesn't
there's
speak a
the
language of
-4,
any kind, yeah.
It helps me perform.
Listen here, you dirty rat.
21, so -4 would be 17.
17 against the rat's will DC. The rat's not entirely positive what's going on, but he's definitely afraid. Yeah. I mean, He saw a wagon fall over. He's not entirely sure why. Lightning's appearing. A gnome is posturing at him. He doesn't understand enough to not be scared. He cowers back a bit, even as Ariad urges him to move forward. At that, the swarm of rats really starts to come together here in this mass around Selwyn and Arvis. And as they kind of pile up underneath you, as they start to mound, it becomes like shin deep, these rats piling on each other, hundreds of them darting into these overgrown grasses the druid has created, biting and clawing and digging into your ankles. So you are each going to take 2 damage, because they are not this massive rat in the back. It is a horde of much smaller rats, and they're only so threatening, but it's definitely distracting, if nothing else.
Wait, the swarm is shin deep. What is it to me?
Like waist deep. You're getting buried in a tide of rats that are surging up nearly as tall as these grasses just rushing out of the ground around you. And there's a huge rat, at Ariad's behest, very angrily, is going to lunge forwards towards Lizard Man. Lizard Man, what is your armor class?
18.
And as he does, he is going to clamp down with his enormous jaws. You didn't have an opportunity really to raise your shield or anything here, as kind of all of your effort was put into tipping this wagon over. And he gets a decently sized chunk out of you. He's fairly large. Your armor only seems so effective. I mean, they're rats. Chewing through things is what they do. But still, it protects you somewhat, and you're only going to take 3 damage. And that brings us to Zerg, strongest man alive.
Yes, is good. How close am I to that giant rat? Right there.
5 feet. He's moved up there. If you go diagonally, you can get there.
Very good. I'm just gonna shoulder barge the fucking thing. Full sprint. Get off my lizard.
So you're gonna rush into him. These plants holding you back, but definitely not enough to keep the strongest man alive away from this giant rat. So you just want to shove him away. So that is an athletics check. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, that would be, yeah.
If you want to move him, it's an athletics.
Yeah, I'm getting him off my lizard.
He's a pretty big rat. This thing gets to
I'm
like...
a pretty big orc.
That's fair. What is that? 20? Absolutely. Absolutely succeeds. So you can shove him back into any of these 3 squares that would be away from you. You can shove him up against the wagon.
Yeah, up against the wagon. That seems like the kind of thing. Follow up on the movement there.
And then as part of that action, if you can choose to like follow with him, if you want to stay and up in melee with him, that's
so.
You.
Was the barge part of the movement, or is that 2 actions?
So it's 2. It's 1 to move up to him, 1 to shove him, and as part of the shoving, you can move with him.
Okay, so I still have 1 action left?
You still have 1 action left.
I'm just gonna punch it.
All right.
While it's on the ground.
Come with him, slam into the flipped wagon, and just punch him. Just barehanded punch.
Get him. 21!
Oh.
21 definitely hits.
For 8 damage.
Heard of.
My lizard! Only I fight lizard!
As you slam him back up into the wagon here, you just beat this 3-foot tall, 5-foot long rat near instantly into unconsciousness. Like, the thing flaps up against the wagon, you slam it, and it just drops on the ground as just a massive, hairy pile of rat meat. Arvis. Fuck
So
nature.
You said I'm hey! You said I'm immobilized.
You are immobilized. So without attempting to be able to move, you would need to escape from the plants around you. And escaping can be done either with athletics, acrobatics, or with an unarmed strike. It's dealer's choice, really. Because
Okay.
it's basically however you want to try to get away from these. Unarmed strike or athletics to physically wrest them off of you, or acrobatics to just kind of slip away.
I am going to use my small frame to possibly use the acrobatics to get away from these things
Okay.
and immobilize myself. That's 14.
14 is going to fail. So you are still, you're unable to pull yourself away from these plants. Like, there's just the grasses and weeds around you have wound themselves all the way up around your legs and are even wrapping around your waist and torso at this point. Physically, literally rooting you in place. You can try again, but escaping takes effort like attacking. It does take a -5 each time you try to do it.
Oh, wow. As far as casting or doing other things, I can't kind of do anything while I'm tangled like this?
You can still cast. Immobilized is basically you just can't move. Yeah, that's actually, it literally just stops you from taking anything with the move trait. You can still cast.
Okay.
And the
Then
double
while
check
I-
on that one, because
I
I
realized
get
that-
immobilized and grabbed confused.
I couldn't get away from the thing, so I'm just hands out to the sides, just open up my palms, and there's like some like electrical sparks and stuff start happening, and a cloud starts circling around the enemy druid, and I'm gonna attempt to do a Tempest Surge on her.
Okay. What is it?
That is a 21 to hit.
Is this your focus spell? Oh, this is your focus spell.
Yeah, this is my focus. This is the
No,
big
21's definitely going to succeed. That's going to hit.
Okay. Well, the cloud like materializes around her, and I just sort of like dart my chin up, and lightning cracks out of the cloud and right into her, for that 11 electricity damage.
And does she also? I see a reflex save in there. Does she also get a reflex save?
There is Let me double check that. 'Cause-
There's a basic reflex save, and she takes persistent damage and is clumsy if she fails it.
So she takes the
Yeah.
whole 11. Oh, that was just a D12. That was just a
Yeah.
hot roll. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. And she takes all that regardless. And if she fails the reflex save, also more bad stuff happens.
Correct.
She is going to succeed on the reflex save, though.
Okay.
So she's going to take the 11 damage as this lightning crackles down through her. But it does not make her clumsy or give her the persistent damage. All right. Ara, back around to you. And as this fight starts here, the weeds rise up against you. Lizard Man leaps down and drops a wagon over as Zerg comes up behind him and slams this rat into the side of it. You, Artemis, and Selwyn are all trapped here in the threat of the swarming rats as Ariad prepares more spells.
Well, good news is, I resent what she just said about me being something abomination against nature. Fire is very natural as I fling a produce flame at her.
I don't know. Something. I don't know what you said about me, but fuck you.
Pretty much. Let's see what we got. A 19 to hit.
19 hits.
That's 5. I rolled a 1 on the dice. 5 fire damage. And then I'm also going to get I'm going to use my final action to intimidate her. Since I cast a bloodline spell, I get +1 to the intimidate check against her.
Okay.
So instead of getting the extra damage,
You're a plant getting literally cocooned by other plants, and you just yeet a fireball out of it somehow.
15.
15 isn't going to be enough to frighten her.
She's not scared of plants. I'm
She
scared
is
of
not
plants.
quite scared of plants at the moment, but what she is worried about is all of the lightning and fire that's command the group here, and these two strongmen that have come around very quickly, bashing her large rat to death. And she looks from Ara to Arabis, confused, almost bewildered that these same magics are being used against her. She's going to stride back to retreat behind the Flamboni sisters' orange wagon here, taking cover from the gigantic men and putting at least some of the wagon between her and the rest of you before she just calls out, "I do not understand. You can't command. Why? How do you command such powers? It is spitting in the very face of their origin!" And then focuses up, "Son of Mayhem!" as she incants another spell, directing it back into herself. And healing herself almost back to full, as her wounds just stitch closed with a greenish glow, and her druidic magic brings her back together. Lizard Man.
So can I... There's no restriction on sudden charge, like it doesn't have to be in a straight line or anything, does it?
No. Charging no longer
Okay.
has to be in any kind of a line.
So I,
Just forward. Well, not even forward, just what it is.
So it's a bit disarming to look at. It's, I'm a very still kind of creature, but when I charge, I go from, it's like a lizard when they just like shoot off. I go from like almost like a statue to full speed. And I'm gonna try and, I just see her duck around and I think she's heading the other way to escape. So I'm going to sudden charge around the back of this, trying to cut her off. And as I look, I'm going to, as I come around to try and kind of clothesline her, and as she stopped moving, I'm just going to continue to swipe and try and swipe at her. Let's see here. For 23.
23 definitely hits.
It does 6 damage.
All right.
And then I'm going to brace, pull my shield up and brace, waiting for I know other if something comes ramming in from the other side. I'm just gonna brace my
There's
shield
just a
up.
little icon for shield raise, so it's easier to keep track of when it is and it is and isn't up. Since we have a roll 20 shield icon, I might as well. All right. Resting herself free from the pile of grasses and roots and everything that have risen up out of the ground, you see one of the Fae that was around the campfire flit up above it, looking around, bewildered at what's happening here. And that bewilderment almost immediately turns to fury as she kind of processes the situation. Sees Selwyn and Arabis getting swarmed by these rats. Sees Ariad in the distance doing whatever it is Ariad is doing, fighting with Lizard Man. And she flies up higher, like 25 feet or so, above these entangling plants and the campfire, and brings her tiny, tiny little hands up together in just pure, unadulterated Fey rage. Splendere Pulveris! And casts a spell with a blast of golden light flickering out towards Ariad. Almost like an explosion of glitter. And she is going to make a reflex save. Yeah, reflex. I had to double check on that one. I have so many NPCs in this fight. Which she is going to pass, but still, she throws up a hand to shield her eyes, Ariad, as this settles around her. And this is right in front of you, Lizard Man. It's bright and it's sparkling, but it doesn't do you any harm or anything. But to Ariad, it looks like it's near blinding. But she shakes her head a bit and seems to just kind of shake it off. Whereas Marina calls out across the party, Selwyn! Arabis! Hold tight! Selwyn.
I am holding tight. Can I move just 5 feet up?
I need you to make me another reflex save.
All right.
You are still in the entangle.
Maybe I'm holding tighter than initially thought. A 24.
Okay, so with a 24, you are still just slowed 10.
Right.
Or,
So I'll spend
not
a
slowed, it's
normal
status penalty to
movement.
speed.
Yes. So here, I assume the swarm cannot be flanked.
The swarm cannot be flanked, no, because it is just a horde of animals.
Yeah.
Swarms are immune to a lot less things in Second Edition, but it still can't be flanked.
Would Twin Fate work?
You can't sneak attack them.
Okay.
They can't take
So-
precision either.
Right. Okay. But can they be flat-footed? Because that just matters for AC.
Oh, yeah, they could be flat-footed for the AC. You can flat-foot them with the Twin Feint. You just wouldn't get the sneak attack bonus.
All right. I'll step out of the rats, just swimming out almost. As I do, draw my short swords, and stab at one of the rats.
I hope more than one. It's
As
kind of a pile,
many as
really.
possible. I roll a 16.
16 is going to succeed.
All right, and 11 damage.
Does that have your sneak attack in there?
Oh, it does. Fuck. That wasn't meant to be. It would
So
be.
with what, 4 lower?
Yeah, 4 lower 7. My bad.
Okay, so as you attack them, I mean, you largely are kind of swinging at individual rats that you can deal with here. It's not terribly effective. They're not immune like in First Edition, but swinging short swords at a horde of rats is doing near nothing.
Right. Realizing it's not really doing much, I'll drop my other weapon and I'll try to punch the rats.
Okay.
Which is a critical failure of a 1.
A whole lot's effective.
You almost go back into the rat pile.
Yeah. Now, what I do is like I start to punch, and as I like keel over and retch out a rat that got like into my throat.
Oh!
Hold up a finger. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Selwyn, are you okay?
I'm okay.
I don't think someone's okay.
I'm okay.
Ugh.
This happened right next to me. I'm a little perturbed.
The swarming rats are just going to continue piling all over Arbus as she's held in place here and she's unable to get away. And as they just writhe and pile, biting at you again and again and again, you're going to take 5 damage, and then you're going to take 2 damage, and then you're going to take 4 damage. Second Edition swarms, their action is just do damage to everyone in their space. So if they can start their turn on you, it's just do damage, do damage, do damage. So Arbus now, as she can't get away and they pile up, running up her legs and around her body, is getting physically torn apart by these rats. All right. Zuri, the other of the Griggs, is also going to pull himself free, fly up above the top of this, quickly look around, and then he is going to flit over here. What is blocking line of sight at the center of this? Oh, there is a wagon in there. There is a wagon under all this growth. I can't even see under all the plants. He's going to fly up kind of over Selwyn and Ara, and he moves to rub his legs together. But as he does, he doesn't produce the same admittedly pleasant music he was doing at the campfire. He strikes him like a match, almost, and releases a focused blast of dissonant sound down into the pile of rats, without a word. And that is going to splash across them. Seemingly almost as ineffectively as Selwyn's daggers, unfortunately. Giant rat, you're dead. You don't get to be in initiative anymore. Zerg!
Yes. Did I see where Lizard Man and what's the face went? Ariad.
Yeah, you would definitely have seen Lizard Man run off around the southern end of this wagon and run around. You would also have seen Ariad step back over here. But I think you can actually still see her a little from there. You can
Yeah, you
tell
can probably
she's right
see her
behind.
legs.
Yeah, and it's not
From where I am, I
quiet.
can see a health bar. That's about
It's not like it's quiet either. Lizard Man is attacking her right now, so she is very much behind the wagon. You're fully aware of where she is.
Is this my ruler? Is that what this does? Yes.
Yeah, ruler.
Beautiful.
Roll 20 mechanics.
Love it.
To the B.
Okay then. Not that I'm known for my tact. Can I? So I can't really see her at all. I just know that she's there
Yes.
somewhere. All right.
Like you couldn't throw something at her from here.
No, I don't want to throw. I am going to sudden charge up to here. I don't know if
Okay.
I can.
Are you you're speed 25, aren't you?
Oh wait, yeah, I can just.
Yeah, you
I'll
don't even you can just walk there. You don't even need a sudden charge. It's just a stride.
I'll just wander over. Now, which way is she facing?
At the
facing
moment, she has her back to the wagon. She just finished healing herself. But Lizard Man strikes her, and she's turning to face him. So away from you, flat-footed, you could say.
Oh really? This is good. This is very good for Zurg. Then Zurg is going to attempt to restrain, same as the bear. We're going for bear again.
This is a much smaller, more realistic wrestling target. She's about a 3.5-foot tall halfling woman.
Perfect. Then screw it, like just around the middle. Like, around you.
All right, roll me in athletics.
15.
15's not gonna quite do it. As it almost seems a little bit more difficult because she is so small. You have to go so far down to get her. You've had a better time with the bear, and she just kind of ducks under your grasp as you reach for her. You can try again, but it'll be at a -5.
I'm gonna kick her real hard.
Okay, that's at a -4.
I want to shout out that
Real hard.
Zurg, I thought you were the strongest man. You can't even fight a little halfling.
Can I hear this?
I shouted out for
Probably.
him.
He's pretty close, and he yells it at you.
Yeah.
I come for you next, little man!
Look around and point at me.
Little 3. What is it? A strength check? I just want to like football punt this thing.
Well, do you want to do damage? Do you want to move her? What's your goal?
I want to move her.
If you want to move her, if it's athletics. If you want to physically just punt her away from you, it's athletics. If you want to do
I want
damage,
to punt her into Lizard Man.
then you can just give me all right. Give me an attack roll. Just an unarmed attack roll. Because an unarmed doesn't have to be your fist. It can, anything unarmed.
27.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
My words of
Yes, of
encouragement
course
reached
it
him.
is. So you can't grab her, but then you just stick this big meaty Zerg leg out and just bodily punt her up, bouncing into a Lizard Man's readied shield before she slams into that and then drops back down to the ground. Roll me your unarmed strike damage.
8.
So that's a crit. It's gonna be double. You kick her in the face for 16.
Wow.
And she like drops on the ground, sucking wind.
That's good.
Nice block, Lizard.
Arabis.
I was ready. I was ready.
Arabis, give me a reflex save.
Yikes. Okay, let me see. There we go. 17.
All right, so you are no longer immobilized. Just with a round of movement, you've managed to slip free. You just have a -10 penalty to your speed.
Oh, so I could actually get on out of here now.
Yes, you can move. You're just speed 15, I imagine.
Well, you said it's half, right? So 10 for me because I don't.
Minus
It's-
10. so
it's
it'd be
minus 10.
15.
Oh, it's -10. So
Yeah, it's just a -10.
So to double move out of here, so I'm probably gonna have to do that.
Das Boot.
Oh boy.
And we'll take you 2 strides to get out of the entangle. Because you are having to like wrestle and fight your way injured through these grasping plants.
I'm pretty sure. Is my battle medicine 1 action?
Sure is.
Can I move like 1, 2, and then 3? Wouldn't that be 1 move action?
5, 10, 15. Oh yeah, you could get to there.
My movement's 20 with my armor on. So
Oh, so you're
okay,
only
so you're
10
10
right
foot.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would take you 2 to get out then. Yes, battle medicine's 1 round. I don't believe you've battle medicined yourself today.
No, I haven't.
So yeah, you can stagger out and then quickly try to triage yourself.
I'm gonna stagger out and just grab all my weird like flowers and herbs and weird powders and just sort of try to fix myself up a little bit.
Just right next to the corpse of this massive. It's not even a corpse actually, because unarmed attacks are non-lethal. It's just unconscious. You just punched it out. Like
Don't
it's
even
not
notice
dead.
it. I'm so worried about all these bite marks all over me.
All right, so make a medicine check.
Okay. That is a 20.
20 will succeed. You heal for 2d8.
I guess.
6.
All right, 6 hit points back. It definitely helps.
It does.
And as we move into the 3rd round here, this evolving battle with Zerg and Lizardman just abusing this druid in the back. But the real threat clearly seeming to be the swarm of rats she commands, moving throughout this field of entangling plants. Ara, make me a reflex save.
Reflex saves. I'm awful at those.
That you are,
13.
yes.
13 is not a critical failure, so you are no longer immobilized. You just have the -10 penalty to your speed.
That's cool. Seeing that Zerg is in fact the strongest man, my words of encouragement reached him. I'm just gonna shift my targets to burning some rats. I'm gonna
All
produce flame on the rats because I want you to point.
We don't want to do
11.
this. Yeah, an 11 is not going to land.
Can I just go ahead and use a hero point to reroll that?
You can absolutely use your session reroll to reroll that.
Alright. About 23.
23 is a little
There it
better.
is.
That's a little better.
He said enough of these dice already. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
So Produce
seriously.
Flame is single target, right? It doesn't have any kind of like AoE
Yeah,
components at all.
it's a single target.
Still, though, as this little ball of fire splashes into the pile of rats, it is wildly more effective at burning them away than swords or the dissonant chords from the flying fae. This is the first real effective thing that's landed on them, and it blasts away a charred mound of rats from the pile.
Cool. So it's actually gonna be 1 extra damage from it being bloodline, so it's 8 damage
Okay.
instead of 7. And then I still have my sling in my other hand. I'm just gonna make an additional single action attack and throw a rock at the druid.
Get him.
So let's watch this one. Sling.
And it is at a -5. 'Cause
It is at a
Produce Flame is
-5.
an attack, yep.
So 14.
And a 14 is going to miss. So you can't quite get it past this massive half-orc who is currently just abusing the druid here.
Fine, I'm throwing peanuts at him.
Lizard man. Question. What kind of armor do you have?
Let's see here. Defense inventory. Chainmail.
How about you, Zerg?
Muted.
I feel like you probably have hide were I to just guess. But I don't know.
Probably.
Pretty sure he has chainmail.
Now this was a thing
Oh, is it
because
chainmail?
Zerg wanted to just wear nothing but a leotard, but we decided that was not a good idea. So chainmail. Chainmail.
Okay, so chainmail.
Lot of
So
metal.
you got
Chainmail
chainmail
leotard.
lizard. So as Ariad falls to the ground here, wheezing, she reaches out with a hand, like almost as if she's trying to steady herself, but then flips her head up a just hateful glare towards Zerg. Informum capacitatum! And a blast of lightning surges through her hand as she reaches for you. What is your armor class?
That would be 18.
Where's your magic hit? There it is. And as it connects, the electricity from her hand surges up, racking through your chainmail, jolting your entire body. Your own armor greatly amplifying the damage her magic is able to do. And you are going to take 14 electric damage.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I don't like that.
And then from the ground there, as she zaps you, she, seeing Lizard Man ready there with his shield up, is going to step back away from him, choosing this battle, but not super able to do a whole lot. If you do minus 14, it'll do the math for you in the little bubble on the health. There you go. All right, Lizard Man. You can see that this electricity is still crackling and sparking across Zerg's armor. He is still being shocked.
Okay, okay. Well, I don't really know what to do about
Actually,
that.
let me double check real quick. You have, right, I got used to no attack of opportunities in Age of Ashes. That actually does provoke from you if you want to swing there.
Oh, does it?
Because the
Oh,
somatic
well, of
component
course.
is a manipulate, and attack of opportunity triggers on manipulates. I keep thinking it's only material that triggers, but somatic triggers too.
Oh, cool. Well, I will for sure take that. I mean, I will never say no.
Mention you have that if people do stuff next to you, because I'm keeping track of like 12 NPCs right now.
Yeah, I didn't know if that counted or not. It's okay. It was a natural one anyways.
It's alright. you try to capitalize. Alright, continue.
Well, yes. So she moves away.
Yes.
Okay. So I am going to, I'm gonna step up next to Zerg, and try and catch this woman as she walks away, and I just like rake down her across her spine. Was it this strike? An 18?
And with an 18, as she stumbles away from you, your claws are gonna rip through her rat-hooded cloak, just barely grazing across her skin. That's not quite enough to do damage.
I think I may try and re-roll that because I have other things I need to be doing.
Did you say you stepped?
Yeah,
'Cause I
I
didn't see
stepped
you
up.
move. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I keep on forgetting that I actually have control of my character. Yes. I'm gonna
You're also used to Age of
re-roll
Ashes.
it. I am so used to it. Okay, so I'm gonna re-roll that and see if I can't get this. Oh god, it's terrible. Okay, never mind. So okay, so I cannot get to her. I'm gonna step up over here. Sorry.
Okay.
And then can I? Like, I guess with electricity, like I can't really like redirect it. If I were trying to, if I oh, I guess I don't have anything metal on. I was thinking I could put like a weapon
Don't
and
you have
kind
your
of.
scale mail on?
I do. Could I like hug him? I'm gonna hug Zerg.
You can just like chest bump
And
him. I will let you spend
I'm
an
gonna
action.
hug Zerg and
This
try
is
and
a little
diffuse
bit of
the
a-
electricity.
This is a bit of a tough movement. I wouldn't say this is a big strengthy thing. So, I'm gonna make you
Trying to ground him.
acrobatics. Acrobatics against Ariad's spell DC. And,
Okay.
if you succeed, you ground it off of him, and it'll basically transfer to you. If you critically succeed, you can ground it. If you critically fail, you'll just both be electrocuted.
Okay. Oh, that's nearly an 18. It's 9.
That's a critical failure. You are,
Now we're
you
both.
you try to root Zerg, touch him with your scale mill. Not positive what we were expecting, and the lightning just arcs across you as well. And
Yep.
at the end of your turn, you are going to take 2 persistent electricity damage, and then just make me a flat check. Just roll a d20.
Roll a d20. It is a 20.
Okay, well, fortunately, it just zaps you for 2, and then it's gone. It doesn't linger.
I touch him and he's like, "Ugh." I'm like, I can.
Just a blast of sparks.
You tried.
Marina is going to also snap her legs together and attempt to launch this little discordant blast down towards the rat swarm. She is going to miss. From her distance, this dissonant note kind of spreads and dissipates too much before it reaches the swarm. It's unpleasant, but it's not harmful. But then she flies almost straight down, down into the entangles, and calls out, "I'll make sure everyone's okay. Deal with the druid." Selwyn,
I'll lift a hand up like, on it, boss. And go
make
back.
a reflex save.
Yeah. That is a 19.
All right, so you are not immobilized. You just have that -10 speed penalty.
Yes, and I'll move to here, and I can do that one move.
Okay.
And
Real-
I am
real
going.
quick.
Yes.
No, I just said real quick.
Oh, I thought it was real quick. I thought
No,
there was
like,
something falling up.
real quick.
Wait, yeah. Walk up, and I will try to stab her. And that's a 10, and I'll use my once per day reroll. Or once
Get
per
all the session rerolls out in the boss fight.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
for it. All right.
Now it's a 15. It's a 17 because it's flanking.
Yeah, she is flat. She's flat-footed, but still, a 17's not. She's pretty on the defensive right now.
Yeah.
And she's twisting away from Lizard Man strikes and your stabs, and just barely, deftly managing to avoid them all.
I'm still reaching from that rat I threw up earlier.
You have a throw.
And I'm going to try again.
All right.
This time it's a 16 total.
16, still not gonna do it.
Sorry.
Wow.
But that's a 16. It should be 14.
I'm still flanking.
Flat-footed lowers her AC. It doesn't add to your attack.
Okay, yeah. Then.
I want to keep these distinct
14.
because there are a lot of modifiers in Second Edition. Pathfinder in
Gotcha.
general, there are like little pluses and minuses. So it's a 14, but she's flat-footed, which doesn't hit. All right, so Selwyn is in the fray, but still not able to land anything here. The swarm of rats, now that it actually wants to move, is going to have to make its own reflex save because it's not natively immune to this entangling or anything. It's also going to fail, so it is slowed. So it's gonna go, make a move exactly 20. It's just gonna follow the pack. And you see this stampede of rats kind of swarm its way out from underneath the roots, up around the still crackling Zerg and Selwyn. And as they make their way out, they pile onto the two of you, seeming to ignore Ariad entirely, as she is literally commanding them. So, in what might be the beginning of the bad times, you each take 3 damage, and then you each take 4 damage.
Were they not slowed coming out of the...
They were, but they're speed 30, so -10 was exactly
okay.
far enough for them to get there. There's a horde of rats. They're pretty fast. So I believe that's going to bring Zerg down. And deal 7 damage to Selwyn. So as Zerg falls, lightning still crackling through his armor, I'm going to go ahead and just meta tell you, people being down with persistent damage is very, very bad. And if that can be helped in any way, Zerg is in a lot of danger right now. Fortunately, he is currently only dying 1. And then Zuri is going to do his best to continue firing these dissonant blasts at the rat swarm here. He is going to launch 1. He is going to critically succeed on that one. And with a blast from his legs, he nearly dissipates the rat swarm. but not entirely. And he is going to fly down right next to Zerg, looking him over. In a bit of a growing panic here, not seemingly very unfamiliar with mortal situations. Before he just looks up to Selwyn and Lizard Man, like overwhelmed, he doesn't know what to do. Arabus.
Can I see him through the rat swarm?
Yeah, you can definitely. The rat swarm's not like
Big
6
guy.
feet tall. He's a big dude. He is in a very bad place at the moment. As you see him overwhelmed, sink down the rat swarm over him. But you have clear vision of him. Because remember, the screen wagon's not actually here.
Yeah, that's right, because it tipped over. Okay.
Yeah, it's over here. So you can
5 foot
see
step
him
still
go
thing?
down, and you can see this lightning surging through him.
5 foot step still a thing though, or is
Yeah,
that...
step action's still a thing.
But does it cost an action to do it?
Yes, it is an action.
Because I'm just out of 30 foot. Ugh.
All
right.
Well, your 2 action heal, you still have 2 actions for. If that's, I don't know. what
Yeah,
you're
but it's
thinking
only
of
30
doing, but-
feet.
Yeah, but I mean,
Right.
you have 3 actions.
Yeah, you're
Step
right, you're
forward
right.
and cast it. I don't know if you have some sort of another plan, but
No, I don't.
Okay.
That's my best idea. I'm gonna step forward and just sort of close my eyes and just reach out towards Zerg's body and attempt some cackling lightning, not different color lightning, the opposite the lightning that's on him, and it's gonna try to stitch up his wounds.
he's got 2 conflicting fields of lightning across his body. One of them electrocuting him, and one of them trying to heal that at the same time.
It's a lot
And
of
how much does he heal for?
All right, I gotta roll that, huh?
It's D8 plus 8.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm starting to get second edition on hand a little bit.
That's a 9. Give it to him. 11.
11! Strongest man alive. Living too strong another day. Zerg, you wake up prone on the ground. You blacked out for a moment. Completely
happens.
covered in rats. With one of the tiny fairies hovering over you at this point, trying to reach down and like bodily throw rats off of you. But the rats are about half of his size. So it's like a 2-hand, it's like he's pulling freaking Dobermans off of you, and he's trying to throw them aside and making no difference whatsoever. Ara, as you see all of this unfolding here, the rats moving away, you are still in the entangled ground, and I need a reflex save.
You're muted.
And
I'm muted. Hi.
Hi.
that's actually a success, so you're not even slowed right now. You're full speed.
These are my people.
You have come to terms with the plans.
I am one with nature. I'm gonna fireball blast completely the rats again.
We would like the rats to be gone now, please.
21
21 will hit,
for 8 damage.
and
Fire.
with 8 damage, you will sear away what's left of the rat swarm, leaving just a few stragglers, not enough to really do meaningful damage, just a small amount of regularly sized rats. This blast of fire lands right next to Zerg, just spraying more charred, flaming rats across the ground near him, as Ariad looks across her slowly dwindling army, and then just looks up in rage.
As look at her, wave. Not a fan of rats. And I'm gonna sling a sling at her. So minus the what 5? So
-5 if your sling's not agile, which I don't think it is.
yeah, it's not.
So at the 15, you just flip another little rock. Does the sling have a reload 0?
It's putting a rock. I have no idea.
That
That's
doesn't matter. It misses regardless. But
Yeah.
if it has, I don't think it does. If it has reload 1, means it takes 1 action to load another bullet into the sling and ready it. But that misses regardless, so that we can look that up later. Ariad, on the ground here, seething now, seeing that everyone's descending on her and she's losing this fight, reaches down and pulls off a curved sickle from her belt, gleaming, engraved with strange runes down the side, inked with a dark green coloration, and just looks around across the group here. Wordless fury.
Manipulate action?
Is drawing a weapon a manipulate action? Good question.
I believe it is.
I believe it is. Drawing a weapon is a move action, which also provokes. Not what I would have guessed.
Okie dokie.
So she reaches for her sickle.
17.
17 is going to miss, so she ducks under it and comes back up with this sickle ready from underneath her cape.
With flanking?
Oh no, it hits with flanking! You're right, hits with flanking. My mistake. So, how much did you take?
That's 8 damage.
8 damage. That almost knocks her down. As you just lash up her behind your shield, she almost drops. And then she... Oh, is your shield up right now? Did you... You didn't...
No, it's not up.
You didn't actually raise it last time. As you put it down and let this assault out, she
I
raises
was trying
the
to hug
sickle
Zerg.
and turns towards you, lashing out with the blade. So what's your AC? No shield.
18.
And as she brings this around, she is surprisingly seems to be an actual expert with this blade, outclassing even yourself. Whether that's due to her own skill or something about this blade seems off to you. She doesn't seem to be wielding it with any phenomenal expertise, but nonetheless, she ducks under your guard and hits you for 13 damage.
Okay.
Nearly taking you down in return. Before she is... Your speed, you're a halfling, it's not a lot. Gonna go ahead and step over Zerg here. And retreats back into the plants. Striding through them completely unhindered. And as she limps, unhindered by the plants, very hindered by her injuries, before turning back around to raise the sickle towards you, clutching her midsection with her free hand. She just dropped her staff on the ground there. No! Even if I fail, nature will have its revenge, if not through me, and to the will of Gozreh himself! Lizard man.
Okay. So I am, like, just bleeding out through my side here.
You and Zerg are both pretty injured right now.
Pretty wounded, I would say. Let me see how far. She's 25 feet.
But she's also through the entangled growth.
Yes. Quite. I am going to move. I am going to my good arm. I'm going to haul myself up on top of this still upright caravan.
This is the thing Lizard Man does. Give me a climb check.
Course.
Or athletics check, sorry.
Athletics check.
Climb's not a skill anymore.
12. I'm very injured.
Yeah, you're very hurt, and you scrabble against the side of this, but even with your claws and your innate climbing ability, it is just like a 10-foot high wagon. I'd say a 12 probably succeeds to climb on top of a 10-foot high wagon. It's not like it's meant to be able to move around and above to repair it easily. Like, there's probably literal handholds on the side. I think a 12 would get you up with difficulty.
Okay. And then I take the set of ropes across my shoulder, like gingerly, and I swing it around and just slam down, trying to bring the end of this rope with this club on it to just smash this halfling as she walks away.
And with that, Saiyan Fox 10 has given you a hero point for your tactical acumen here. Now, those do not expire every session like accessory rolls do. You keep those with you until you spend them.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
Sandbox.
here's the Atlas strike. 19.
19 is exactly her AC.
Oh man.
Good.
And 5
That's really good.
is
5
exactly not enough to bring her down.
Oh no!
Oh.
What a tease.
Well,
But you
We're
bring this.
getting
I
there.
think has so much range. You bring this club down on her and knock her down to her knees. Marina is still in the entanglement somewhere, flitting about. You occasionally see her rise up from beneath the plants, diving through the rest of the exhausted circus members, making sure nobody is in any immediate danger. This might have come to Selwyn. And Zerg, for reference, because I know it may feel like you got skipped here. We didn't actually come around to it because you got healed up. When you go down, when you get knocked unconscious.
My turn
When
was spent unconscious. It's cool.
No, it moved your initiative, basically. It moved you
really?
to right before the thing that knocked you unconscious, so that everybody else has a full round to try to help you before you have to start making death saves.
Right.
So that actually just, it does change your initiative. So you're actually up next. Selwyn.
I'll fold my arms and say, "Get her, Gray," and I'll hold until after Erebus. Sorry.
All right. Zerg, then. You are still prone, and this is also our first introduction of the wounded mechanic. In second edition, when you get knocked unconscious to the dying state and come back, you become wounded. And basically, the more wounded you are, the more likely you are to die the next time you go down. And it's like exponentially more dangerous. And if you get up to wounded 3, you just die instantly the next time you're brought down. Magical healing cannot remove the wounded condition. Only a night's rest or mundane doctor care can remove that from you.
Is that the only thing that happens? It doesn't affect my rolls? or
Yes,
anything
it doesn't
like
actually affect your rolls or anything. It just means you're basically severely injured and more likely to die should you go down again. But it doesn't affect your rolls at all. The only thing that affects you right now is that you are prone on the ground. And also still
Okay.
struggling with lightning.
that? Oh, still?
Yes.
Is that causing damage?
It will at the end of your turn, yes. Now, when you have any kind of a persistent effect like this that's continually damaging you, it's got about a 1 in 4 chance every turn to fade away. You can, if you can think of something to do to try to remove it, you can spend 2 actions to try to remove the effect immediately, and that's pretty much always got a 50-50 chance of succeeding as long as you can think of something that would reasonably prevent the condition. And if you do that, it actually is before you take damage. At the end of your turn, you take damage, and then you roll to see if the effect ends. But if you do it, you interrupt it, it might not affect you at all.
Simplest solution.
Okay.
Zerg is gonna stand up if he can. Is that
Yeah,
gonna
that's
require
just one
anything?
action, yep.
Yep.
Just a single action.
Now you said it would take 2 turns to try and remove the element.
2 actions.
2 actions. 1 action to just remove my armor.
Can you get out of... You have
It's
chainmail.
naked time.
Okay. I don't
It's a
know that-
leotard.
It's a chainmail leotard.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's-
oh no, not again!
Let me see.
It pinches a little, but it's okay.
A
It,
bunch of meat falls flat to the side.
taking your leotard is a very protective leotard since it is chainmail that is affecting you. And it has a lot of various straps and buckles that are largely the bulk of what is protecting your body. If you're gonna have it so that it's chainmail armor, it's also gonna take a full minute to get
Okay.
out of it. You
He's
can't
the
just
strongest
you can't,
man. He could
if
just
you want
tear
to
out of
rip
it.
it off of you and destroy it, you can make an athletics check. But to take it off and undo it takes 10 turns. It's not like an
now,
in-combat thing.
Hear me out, right? This
Okay.
is while it's magic lightning surging all around me. It's still lightning, right? It still hurts.
Yes.
Zerg is gonna charge at Ariad and grab on.
Okay.
Oh no.
You're
Spear
gonna hug
tackle and
her
grab. Yeah.
with the lightning. He gets up, stumbles into the entangled growth here, and makes an athletics check.
to hug. Well, he did notice Lizard Man did get hurt when Lizard Man touched him.
That's
so.
true. Lizard hugged him and got electrocuted. She's not wearing anything metal, but she is still a person.
Zerg is very grabby.
That's what I'm good at. 13.
13. It's not gonna be enough. Maybe it's the plants grasping around you. Maybe it's the pain. That's not gonna. You still can't quite grab a hold of this little greased midget that's running around casting spells at you.
But you're not very good at grabbing.
And at
Listen,
the end,
plant.
at the end of your turn, you are gonna take 1 lightning damage,
Okay.
and I need you to just roll me a flat check, which is just a d20 with no modifiers. I don't know, 15 plus, the lightning fades away.
So roll d20.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep.
Oh god, that's a 3.
The good news is there's no critical failures here. You just
Oh, okay.
it's a pass or fail situation. It's just a 1 in 4 chance to fade away. So the lightning is still crackling across you. Zuri. Now seeing Lizard Man up top and Zerg wading into this, and everyone's in this bramble. He's like 9 inches tall. He's gonna cast his glitter dust because he hasn't yet, and with that same incantation, Splendori Pulveris, a blast of that same flickering golden dust is gonna wash off over Ariad and unfortunately a bunch of your circus members. But it's not gonna hurt them. At worst, it's gonna kind of blind them. And this is desperate times. Ariad is going to critically succeed, and absolutely nothing is going to happen to her, as these particles don't even land on her, and by this point, even the ones from the previous casting have faded. The plants shield her from this entirely. And then he's going to fly up next to Lizardman at the top of this here and see you, how injured you are, and just look you up and down. No! No! Lizard! Are you alright? Can I help?
I'm fine. I'm also very strong, as I kind of list to the side.
Swinging this
I'm
club on a
also
20-foot cable.
Very strong. Very strong. And I'm just kind of keep listing kind of dangerously to the side on the top of this thing.
Alright. Aravis.
Okay. As I'm sort of tracking her, she's running through the brush there. I'll call out to her, Ariad, and see if she'll get and make eye contact with me.
She'll look. I mean, she will respond to her name. She's currently ducking under a humongous electrified orc trying to bear hug her. But
And when she looks
ducks and glances your way.
And when she looks in my direction, in Druidic, I'm going to say to her, your perversion of the Storm Lord's will is dangerous, and the wind has led me here to purge you. And I will cast my focus spell, Tempest Surge, on her.
You have 2 focus points?
Yes.
Oh, babies.
He does.
All right. That was a hit roll, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll it.
I was just wondering if I need to make a check. I do if you hit her, because there's also the save.
On the 21 attack.
And with a 21, as this all courses together and this electricity surges down through Ariad's tiny halfling body, what happens?
The storm clouds almost encase her, and there's just all kinds of crazy lightning bolts to the point where as soon as it dissipates and she hits the ground, she's basically unrecognizable charred figure. Yeah.
Just fried. As she drops, you do have 1 action left if there's anything else you want to do.
Just so you know, I'll save it for later.
I don't have anything.
Fair. Selwyn. And we're still in this for a moment because Zerg is still crackling with this electricity in the middle of this entangled growth.
Can I do anything to to stop it.
When
for him?
anybody has persistent damage, anybody can spend 2 actions if you have a reasonable thing you could do to try to stop it to make that flat
Alright.
check to see if it ends. Lizard Man had a great idea. I let him 1 action because there was a downside and it came through. But normally it is 2 actions and a thought to try to help
Yeah.
somebody overcome.
I'll move
like that.
move up to him, grabbing grass off the ground as I do. And
It's still growing. This grass is still growing and waving around.
Yeah. And I'll grab that grass and rub it all over the armor, trying to dissipate the electricity.
All right, and as you just rub grass all over Zerg's body, roll me a flat check.
Just a leotard.
Just the you rub grass all over Zerg's leotard.
Ah, darn. A 9.
It's a DC 10 flat check.
Hmm.
Selwyn comes up to you, Zerg, and starts running grass all over your bits. Some sparks surged across her gloves, but nothing really seems to change as of yet. Ara? You should make me a reflex save, because you might be stuck.
Ooh, why is that so small? 15.
You are not stuck. You're just slow.
Oh, I want to help Zerg. He's the strongest man.
Why does this keep happening?
Yeah,
Fucking
I've
plant
heard
as a
before.
gnome piling into Zerg's pants.
You know what? I'm gonna do something stupid because I'm stupid. I'm gonna try to use my own body to ground him.
Well, you are a stick.
I am a
True.
true. So I'm gonna attempt that.
All right,
So
so
I
you
just
spend
roll-
2 actions trying to do that again. And just roll a flat d20, because it's just a % chance to succeed.
11.
And with an 11, you have enough biology about you to route this electricity through you as you're grounded properly, and Zerg is insulated by the piles of writhing plants. But not quite enough for it to cause you any harm. And you are able to successfully ground this electricity out of Zerg before it harms him anymore.
Good job.
Out of his
feel like I've lost
chainmail-
somehow.
his chainmail leotard.
I'm useful in stupid situations.
And with that, largely the campground sounds fall silent as the battle ends. Ariad fried upon the ground. This giant rat slammed up against Tulip's tipped over caravan. The rest of the circus members who were near the edges of this entanglement having kind of dragged themselves over to try to help, but again, they're just beyond exhausted from the cavorting the Fae had forced upon them. And then finally, the plants slowly begin to stop, and beyond that, even to recede back towards the ground.
Dig. I'd say kind of a little bit still a little wishy-washy. Wanna help me come pick up this caravan?
Nah. This was a very shocking experience. Wasn't ready for it.
I don't know why people are so fond of lightning around here.
Where is Dancy Girl? Where is she?
Yeah, what happened to the other fairy?
Not her.
And,
wait.
Marin,
So about Arabus.
oh,
Oh, Arbus. I thought the other fairy.
There's so many. I am
so
here.
as these plants finally sink back down, now just overgrown weeds around the campsite.
My friends.
That was a continue. Sorry, they have faded. You can see Arabus over there, where the wagon had once been.
No, I come up to
Well,
look
she
at the
can
body.
approach now. The plants are gone. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Fist bump him up. Gozreh sucks! Long live Gozreh!
That's a dual statement.
Well,
Speaking this way of the Stormlord is blasphemous, Selwyn.
come on. She was using the magic too.
Perversion.
I'm gonna go check on everyone.
And if you
I trust my
Yeah.
fairy friend, but I'm gonna go check on everyone.
head over to look through the rest of everybody that's there, Nobody seems to really have taken any injuries from the fight. She definitely had command of the rats, and she identified you guys as clearly the threats. You were the only two that you were the only five rather that the rats had really swarmed up around. They hadn't taken advantage of everyone laying on the ground. They weren't acting on even the smallest amount of instinct, fully commanded to fight until they were just dispersed. And even now, there's still probably 2 dozen, mostly wild rats just around, bolting underneath various wagons or just darting off, hopping through the grass into the distance of what's left of that swarm.
So if I walk over to this giant rat, is it dead? Is it like mega dead, or is it just unconscious?
Well, as you lean down, you can definitely tell it's still breathing. It's knocked the fuck out, but it's not dead. Because unarmed strikes are non-lethal. So if in second edition, there's not 2 different, default unarmed strikes. His raging unarmed strikes are very not. But his regular boots and hands are non-lethal attacks, unless you have something I'm not aware of that makes them lethal mono.
I mean, ripping heads off, it would be an unarmed attack.
That would, in fact, be unarmed. But your normal, just non-raging smacking things knocks people out rather than killing them. So the giant rat where it got slammed up against the side of the wagon here, it's again unconscious, but it's definitely still alive.
Does that mean Ariad is alive too?
Ariad got fucking electrocuted.
Oh yeah,
She's dead.
that was the last part. Yeah.
In second edition, it's just the final blow.
What puts you down? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I see the lizard man approaching the rat behind me?
I'd be like, Arvis,
Yes.
you want a large rat. This one's still alive.
We're just gonna have a petting zoo.
We
Of all
have
the rescue
already
animals?
a petting zoo.
He's not in danger of dying by looking at him, is he?
No. He got zapped. A large patch of his fur on his flank would have been singed away from the electric arc, but he only got hit by 1 electric arc, and then Zerg fucking body slamming him into the underside of a wagon. So, he's not even, bleeding or anything. He's just super unconscious.
Okay.
Probably move him before I move this caravan, because it seems like he would probably get crushed.
I will treat the animal.
Not the elephant.
I can battle medicine, right? Because it's just I do it out of
You can battle medicine the rat. Yes,
Wait, hold up.
That's a thing you can do.
Because I thought treat runes is 10 minutes, but battle
It
medicine's
is.
like
But
right
yeah,
now.
that is actually an interesting use of battle medicine I never considered. People that you just want a one-time heal, you can just battle medicine because the cooldown's per person. I mean, what are the odds you're not going to want to battle medicine this rat again today? So yeah, you can easily, quickly treat it in just seconds and make sure it's okay. Yeah, make me a medicine check.
14.
A 14 is a failure by 1. So you can check it over. You can tell it'll be okay. It'll probably wake up in a couple hours, but you can't that quickly tend to its burns from the electrical arc. I mean, it was burned by magical lightning. It's a difficult quick fix.
Someone move rat to safe place.
Don't
I'll
look at
just
me.
drag it 5 foot further forward before I go back to trying to tip the caravan up.
Lizard man,
Nick.
you don't look very healthy right now. Could I take a look at you too?
I would not mind if you had time.
And the party's pretty injured at this point. That was a.
I would just
That was
rest
certainly
my
a
arm
battle.
over my head, and just this side, you can basically just see the ribs where a flap of skin has just kind of peeled forward.
Ew.
Oh, this looks bad.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You putting your finger in it?
I was just.
Ugh.
It's okay, she's very clean, very hygienic.
Trained
don't
expert.
worry.
Yes. As I smash mud on my hands before I.
Don't touch me, I'm sterile.
I also
So-
got bit by the rat. Do you think that this would have do you think I'm rat disease? Do you think I have rabies or something?
His baby. You're a
Yeah,
lizard
okay.
though.
If I start going feral, just
I'll put you
make-
down, don't worry.
We'll put you down, it's
Thank
okay.
thank you, Zig.
No problem. You, dance lady.
That
Sidle up. next to Erebus.
The mighty, you still stand.
Yes, you saved my life. In my clan, we have life debt. I now give you this because I don't want to, but I give you this. And I'm just gonna grab Erebus's face and give her a big smooch.
No.
Mwah!
Well
I will
then,
not forget this. I don't forget this.
I'm not sure I will either. You're welcome.
His kiss is enough.
Okay.
I think
this
I
point,
want to forget this.
The professor. The people around the campfire now have started kind of getting up, looking over, their adrenaline kind of overriding the exhaustion from the dance they've had to do. And they're looking around, barely having been able to process what was going on, as most of them were flat on the ground and held down by these plants. They couldn't even see the battle, just hear the spells, the crackling lightning, the swinging blades. But the professor now, leaning up against one of Mordrain's wagons, just kind of looks across the group of you. Right, he's right next to Ariad's fried body. Oh, is that it then? This halfling is responsible for all of this.
I'll lean over. Probably. Given what you said, that seems likely, yes.
Well, then it
She
seems
lost
that
her way.
far more than I could have anticipated. We're in your debt. All the gods above and below. I don't think any of us would still be alive if not for you. You didn't just save the show, you saved the whole damned circus. And Zuri flits down with the quick clap that Marina was doing earlier. Oh, yes! Very much a spectacular performance. Once again, even better than that at the show. But people are injured, right? Not as amusing for mortals, I hear.
No one's dead, so we'll be fine, right? I'll crack a smile at the Fae.
And the professor just prods at Ariad with a foot. Well, fortunately, it seems at least someone very much is.
I'll prod her with my short sword. Just go all the way through.
Yeah, but that's not a prod. It's a blade.
Like just ash.
He just put pricker with a short sword, and yeah, it just crumbles through her burnt skin like it's nothing. Even much of her leather armor having been seared to a crisp.
Selwyn, you may want to look at her
So where's
sword
that?
dagger thing, because it seemed there's runes all over it, and it seemed rather odd.
I cast detect magic.
You would detect some
Did you say
magic, my friend.
Selwyn should look over it?
Yeah.
I detect magic. Cool.
Do you not have swords? Are you not like a sword person? Do you not have little swords?
I have little swords, but I don't get magic. This
I'm
shit's
gonna-
enchanted.
I
Well,
thought
they're
you could just
probably-
look at it. I don't know.
While they're
if
talking,
you-
I'm just gonna walk over and grab the sickle.
All right. So again, it is going to take you 10 minutes to try and draw out any magic inside the sickle to piece it together and figure out what exactly it is.
Got nothing better to do.
Yeah, as it
Uh,
seems the storm is broken here. Sorry, go ahead.
Hold my finger. Gray, can I have some of those quick hands that you've been doing?
I'm treating the lizard at the moment.
And yeah, she has sat down to start working with him.
Oh,
And the
come on,
professor,
man. I don't
professor-
feel great either.
Did you get hit?
Doesn't it take 10 minutes?
I have. Have you seen my? I have been,
Oh, you
I've
got
been nibbled
nipped.
like crazy
you
on the
got
rats.
nipped a lot, right?
I'll roll up my sleeve and show a bunch of flesh wounds with like bite holes.
How
He
does
has
the,
ribs showing, Selwyn. Look.
But come on.
I would wiggle my chest as the flap kind of sways back and forth.
the professor motions
Fine.
back.
You win. Whatever.
Tulip, can you tend to Selwyn? I know this was a part of your skill set. Help us with the engine. Tulip, Gadarin, and motions to a couple of the more trained of the roustabouts, and also calling over Ilva from your sideshow. And they all kind of gather around to come help anyone who needs treatment. And Tulip was getting their first real view of this. Oh, my Lord, someone. I don't got nothing to treat you with. You got any a medicine kit, gauze, some salves?
I'll pull out. I'll go to my cart or whatever I've been using.
Hers
and
is
pull out my
right next
medicine
to you,
kit.
just kind of tipped over. And if you start heading away, she's like, no. I got some in my wagon. She opens the door sideways onto the ground and just kind of gets down on her hands and knees to pat around in there and grab some things. Come here, love. I'll see what I can do about that.
Oh, salt.
And the ground is
fine.
just strewn with charred rat corpses everywhere, in addition to this unconscious one up against the underside of her wagon. And the
little bit of a rat
professor,
problem.
again, does anyone recognize her? She doesn't look like anyone we know from the menagerie. And truth be told, it didn't sound like it either. Is this...
I didn't recognize her.
Could
Me
this
neither.
be
All
her?
halflings look the same to me.
Wow.
He has a
Wow.
good point, but not as far as I can tell.
So if this is not Mistress Dusklight's doing, then why? What was she talking about? Abberton being a cancer and nature rising against Erebus. This sounds like, well, a more insane version of what you're normally on about.
She lost her way, perverted. Not the Stormlord's way.
Yes.
Well,
Fear not, you're under my protection.
and I'm damn grateful for that now. Unfortunately, it seemed the more in tune Druid won. Nature's made its choice, if I'm to be the judge. Still, oh, gods. Is everyone okay? He turns and calls back across the group to kind of a bunch of half-hearted responses, and still a lot of people strewn across the ground. So, given, fortunately, a moment to now recuperate, it seems, there, as Arbus is tending to Lizardman's wounds. Ara is attempting to suss out what magic this sickle might have. And we have... Hey, we did the thing on the cover, boys. We did the thing on the cover!
Yeah.
Arbus, give me a medicine check. As it truly seems like the worst is past here.
17.
17, you succeed. You can restore 2d8 health to Lizardman.
Okay. 2d8.
Uh,
8. I don't get the plus for that one. For
Your 2-action heal spell is the only thing that gets a plus.
okay.
If nobody else objects, Tulip is going to attempt to treat someone.
I ain't happy about it, but I'll let it happen.
Are you not?
No. I won the fast hands.
She is going to succeed as well. And she is going to heal you for 11.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, shit talker. I don't want to hear any more of that crap.
About Southern hospitality coming from Tulip.
Yeah.
Also an ex-Pathfinder Ranger. She's level 2. She's got a little
Oh,
more
she's
skill
better than
there.
us.
So, Ara, you're trying to suss out the magic of this sickle. Zerg, you get accounted for here. While everyone's resting, kind of recuperating everything their wounds tended to, there are definitely other people. Ulva could try to treat you if you want. She's a member of your sideshow. She's a fairly large Varisian woman with a completely bald, shaved head. And I mean large as in tall and jacked. She is very much outside of the standard traditional womanly archetype.
The strongest woman.
And
it's my kind of lady, huh?
yeah, she's a large Shawanti. who left her qua years ago to join the circus and works in your sideshow Everyday Marvels as a storyteller. She's the tattooed woman. She's also got some medical skills. She can treat you if you want.
Zurich no feel so good. I need help. Strong lady. You come help.
All
Little
right, so-
snack first. Reach into my pants and grab this hunk of meat.
So, I realize there's a little dissonance between I'm wearing only a leotard and reach into my pants. Is your meat just like...
You know how a leotard, like, it
They
comes
have that
down...
big swoop. Yeah, they have the big swoop.
swoop. I'm
So it's
reaching
not
out-
so
kind
much
of
in your
goes
pants, it's just kind of crammed in front of you.
It's a singlet.
Okay,
no,
so
no,
I
it
reach into my
stretches.
cram. That's fine.
Oh no!
That's fine. I'll reach into my
Alright.
cram.
You
Oh,
grab some of this meat. Ulva finds it hilarious. She thinks you are a very amusing man.
My God.
And as she kneels down to treat you, it is saying, a story told among my people. Those who are strong enough to accept aid from others and to survive the battle only end up growing in strength, Zerg.
yes. I believe this.
And she
I'm
will
very strong.
critically succeed to treat you.
Give me a good rub
Yeah,
down.
look at my GM screen. Yeah, apparently Ilva's old Shawanti medicine is pretty good. And you are going to heal for 21
That's
over
Holy
10
shit.
minutes.
that remove wounded as well.
It also
Yeah.
removes the wounded condition. Yes, you are
That's
no longer
awesome.
wounded. Ilva's apparently
love you.
fantastic at this.
Maybe
Ancient
Zerg's a bit
Shawanti
too
medicine.
much into it.
Many consider it unconventional, but it is effective, yes?
Many consider Zerg to be unconventional, but they're still good.
Out of grabbing stuff.
We are two of souls, Zerg.
Yes, I agree. You want to arm wrestle?
Hold still for more minutes. Let me finish,
Oh.
and then we will see.
Okay. I like you. You're good.
So, meanwhile, Ara, I will make the secret check here for you. What skill are you using? I assume Arcana is probably your best of the magical traditions.
Nature.
Nature, right? Primal Sorcerer. My brain is still on Sorcerer equals Arcane. It's so
Sorcerer.
hard to deprogram that out of my head.
Sorcerer's
What is
equal
your
best.
nature?
5.
5. So after 10 minutes, you have drawn out some of the energy here, and maybe with a quick couple of castings of Read Aura from Arabus to highlight a bit of the blue glow around some of the runes. One in particular set down near the hilt of the sickle before the blade has its signature curve. It's actually a piece that is set into the sickle. It's not an actual part of the metal of the blade itself. And this is the essence of the magic. This is a lesser potency rune. Basically what this does is it means that the sickle is magically enhanced and just strikes better than other weapons of its kind. It's a very simple enchantment. It do sickle more gooder. Now, you could wield this sickle as it is, with its lesser potency magic. Alternatively, in Second Edition, this is one of the many very cool things they've done with Second Edition. Runes can quite easily be moved across weapons. You can take this lesser potency rune, and with a day of downtime, a little bit of magical or alchemical reagents to draw it out and attune it to a new weapon, you can put this magic into a weapon of your choosing. Runes are quite easy to swap around in Second Edition.
Cool. I'm gonna walk over to Selwyn after learning all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Selwyn,
Yes.
can I borrow your kukri?
I don't use cookies. I use short swords. But you can.
Short swords. Can I borrow your favorite short sword?
I have two favorite short swords. Do you want Cecil or Clara?
Yes, of course they have names.
Clara.
All right, and I'll
He
hand
was
the
on
white
that
one.
instantly.
Grab it and I toddle off.
So it's again, I don't know if I
Yes,
didn't
yeah.
mention this. It would
Yeah.
take a full day of
Yeah.
downtime. Okay.
Yes.
but
What a
to
strange
move the
little
river,
creature.
but that you can do. Also, I mean, a sickle is also a light, agile finesse weapon. You basically trade a die size of damage to gain the trip trait.
Yes, but then I won't have my
That is-
symmetry.
This is better.
You won't have your symmetry.
Yeah,
You'll have
I
this
wouldn't be able to handle it.
green
And how
druidic
could I leave
sickle.
Cecil behind? Or Clara?
Well, the swords have names. There's no way we can abandon them. Obviously, they have to stay with us forever. So after that brief rest there, as Zara totters off with the sickle and with Cecil or Clara, whichever.
Clara.
Everyone having largely been touched up, Giant Rat still unconscious in the corner. The sun is now moving down towards the horizon. There's not a lot of time for light left. And in that time, your circus friends have largely recuperated. Now, there's still stuff they've got to do. As exhausted, tired, or worried as they are, the tent still has to be brought down. But that is certainly not any of your jobs. That's what the roustabouts are for. That's what they do. At the moment, it seems the danger has passed. What do you want to do?
I would like to convince two fairies to join the circus.
Well, you certainly have two fairies. And as you're around healing, as you're being tended to, Zuri and Marina are still there. And they're absolutely still engrossed in talking to you. They're starstruck by the fact that they not only got to meet the circus performers they so admired, but also fight alongside them against whatever the fuck that was. However, to join the circus, while they at first seem very excited about the prospect, make me a perception check, Solon.
Yep, will do. That is one lower if we're still level 1.
You are
17.
you are still level 1. So
No, 16.
with a 16, you can tell that while Zuri and Marina are very excited about this prospect and are very agreeable, they're super on board with the plan, you don't feel like they really understand the commitment involved. And you don't know if they're really in it for the long haul, so to speak.
I'll do my best to try to explain it to them, as well as kind of shrug. If it's something they'll want to move on later on, that's fine. Just play for a few shows, see how you feel.
They are very notoriously flighty creatures. But
Thanks
you
all
will
with the
spend
wings.
some time trying to talk to them. They're not going anywhere in the immediate future. So you could absolutely, at some point, spend a day of downtime trying to really convince Zuri and Marina to really think it through. Really stick with this. Look at the opportunity they have, because they're excited. You just want to make sure they're on your page with their excitement. How about the rest of you?
So 2 things. Zig, you want to help me with the caravan?
I'm a little busy.
Zig. That's nighttime activities, daytime activities, now at the caravan.
I'm sorry, Ilva. I must go help little lizard. We hang out later, huh?
She nods. I believe I am done here. You seem you are fine for now, Zerg.
I'm a little stiff.
That will wear off, is not a problem.
I don't
Go.
think so, but we'll see.
Tend to your lizard friend.
Yeah, nah, I will.
So we're gonna try and get the caravan upright. Would be the plan.
And do you want to for memes roll? Because given unlimited time, you could certainly.
Okay, yeah.
You have
sure,
both
fine.
of you and the roustabouts to help you write it back up. Like it is going to
I gotcha.
successfully happen. Yeah, it's not. It's
Gotcha.
not something. There's no pressure here. I tell me if I'm wrong. Party, tell me if you disagree with me. I generally am not a big fan of prompting a bunch of dice rolling for things that are all but guaranteed or like have zero
that's
stakes
fine.
whatsoever. Like you
Yeah.
have your nothing's happening. You have the night. You're gonna write this wagon. Like it's not a question. Of
It just
if,
takes up
it's-
extra time. That
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
need to be
That's what I
taken.
figure. Because
Yeah.
it's the unfortunate quality that you can't role play literally everything, because then it would take us math 6 sessions to get through one in-game day because that's 24 hours. You can't roleplay everything. So with
I
Zerg's
would
help,
also. Oh yeah.
you get the
sorry.
wagon up, right? No, I'm just saying that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I would also look at Arbus and look at the rat. Look at Arbus. You want the rat?
I don't own the rat. The rat now is free to do what he wishes. Can you drag him to the tree line?
Oh, so you don't want me to put him in one of the caravans and lock him in there until you can talk some sense into him, can you? Or do you want me to just like abandon him off into the woods and stuff?
Do you feel?
I think the lizard man wants to keep the rat.
We don't need to keep the rat. Actually, this is a terrible idea. And I'd pick up the rat and start walking towards the woods.
Okay.
It's a fairly large, chunky rat, but you can haul it off.
But it's so adorable.
And you just, again, this thing's like 3 feet tall, 5 feet long. This is a massive dog. You haul it up, and it's about all you can do to bear this thing's body out to the tree line and just lay it in the grass, where it will assumedly wake up and sprint off into the forest to go be a wild creature and do wild creature things. The rest of the
Giant
tiny rats at this
chisels.
point are, well, no more than the circus usually has running around. It's impossible to handle all of them. It's just a fact of road life.
Mm-hmm.
Used to it at this point.
Yep.
I hate
So
rats.
then, I believe the group of you may take a little bit of time, the sun going down, but nothing further happening, to truly begin to be at ease and rest as everyone slowly filters back to their own wagons, the first couple in large groups, checking and making sure everything's okay. Nothing further is lurking, but after a few wagons have been open to no changes, a group of roustabouts and probably a couple of you head down to the Featherfall 5, the Kambali family's wagon, where Ariad had emerged from in the first place, to make sure there's no further harm in there, other than a gratuitous amount of rat fecal matter and an overwhelming stench. Seems to be nothing terribly wrong in there. Unfortunately, it has to happen to the family trying to have a normal fucking life in the circus, but you know.
I offer them the use of my wagon. At some point. I'm a plant.
What is in your wagon?
Nothing.
It's just
How
an
do you
empty wagon.
Like, maybe some bedding, but really not a lot. Because I don't eat food.
You just photosynthesize.
I photosynthesize. It's literally all I do. I'm a
So yeah,
plant.
there's probably a ton of space in your wagon. Yeah, absolutely. They would graciously accept. But everyone would find their way to a rest that evening, with what has been a truly spectacular day now behind you. You have avenged Thunder. You have defeated this crazed druid and whatever it is that she's on about. And you put on a damn good show for the Circus of Wayward Wonders opening night. That said, still a bit of a question around that map you guys found with those orchard and the mill circled with no real labeling. Probably merits a follow-up, but a follow-up that can almost certainly wait until tomorrow. So as you rest overnight in Second Edition, if any of you are still missing any health, you regain your Constitution modifier times your level, which is now 2 as you rest. So I hope that everybody did, in fact, get all of your stuff ready for second level, because you now have a whole new level's worth of shenanigans available to you. Whatever health increase, you just get all of that. But whatever missing health you have, you just get double your Constitution modifier as you sleep for the evening. As you are readying for bed, and as everyone is finally turning in, Arabis, you have a wagon as well here. All of you do. Zerg and Lizardman share one, and it's more of a large cart. But Arabis,
Yeah.
what is your wagon? What does your wagon look like?
Yeah, all right, so if you went to Wagons R Us, all right, and you bought a wagon, and it was
Okay.
completely standard, right off the showroom floor, if you open the door into mine, it's like brand new, almost unused, maybe unused.
So you don't even
There's,
sleep in your wagon.
No, I don't.
I was about to say we have two people who don't even use their wagons in this party.
You're
Yeah,
using to
I mean-
transport your wolf and your gear and things you need for your performance, but you don't stay. Neither of you or Ara stay in your wagons. They're
Yeah,
just
that would be it, really.
supplies. So as you're laying in the grass outside at night, resting, you find yourself having a difficult time getting to sleep. Arbus, I need you to make me a fortitude save.
Oh, no. That's an 18.
So you can feel yourself starting to come down with some kind of sickness, and you can really feel it starting to settle in as you lay down. Your throat's becoming raw, your sinuses are backing up, and your eyes are watering, making it a little harder for you to get to sleep, but certainly not stopping you, not after a day that eventful. But with that evening, before we head into the next morning, I think that's literally the perfect breaking point to take a midstream break here and stand up, go stretch our legs, take our assorted pisses and whatever, with a successful defeat of whoever the hell Ariad was. And nobody died. Zerd was in
Yay.
an incredibly precarious situation. It almost
Cannot
about
be killed.
that was almost the worst way you could go down. Down with persistent damage on you in a swarm. It's like the worst possible thing that could happen.
Oh
But we
my
got through
goodness.
it. So we'll be right back, everybody. Give us a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Certainly there is more to follow. Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. Guess what I didn't forget to do this time? It's unmute the party.
Oh.
Which I am 0 for 2 on the previous 2 episodes.
No, you're 1 for 3 now.
I'm now 1 for 3. My record has
job.
increased by infinity %. I remembered to unmute the party this time. It's been really convenient being able to separate the audio cables so that I can still, like, we can communicate on break for coming back in and whatnot. But I gotta remember I have 2 unmutes I have to do when we come back now. So chat, while Monolith makes his way back over, quick, just skim of the chat poll. Opinions on the new Pathfinder on-stream notifiers. They're much smaller, they're much quieter, they're hopefully much less obtrusive. The text doesn't fit on them super fantastically if you have a long resub message. But would you prefer not having them at all? Are they too small and unobtrusive? They're cute and themed, they look fine. Because I'm fine-tuning this. They're definitely temps for now. But because it's just stock Streamlabs assets that I can just use. So I'm gonna be changing them into something. I'm just not entirely positive what yet, and that's largely going to depend on what you guys want out of them. And if everyone would prefer, I guess, just not having stream notifiers on Pathfinder, I can just not make them. Because I wanted to have something up. Because just the 6-year full-time streamer in me is sad about streaming without sub-notifiers on, because it's the biggest feels bad on the face of the planet. So I wanted to bring them back. I just couldn't have my normal ones, because those ones are very obtrusive by design. Which does
I
not...
have to say this. I sit here and I keep expecting any second now Monolith's chair will do something amazing.
Why?
look how it's like with the background. It seems like it'll spring into action in any second now.
Like he's just gonna spin around. It was me!
It might actually be hilarious because of the way that the Zoom chroma keying works out. He's got an actual green screen, so his works very, very well. But it's possible
New day,
that
new color.
the Zoom chroma key is not the best. And we've seen what happened when Zindern had his on and he waved his hands around. Because, like, it's just Zoom doesn't do motion grade in general. Because even me, who was doing an actual OBS chroma key, if I wave my hands, it's just a blurry fucking mess. He could just appear in the chair if it edits out everything
God.
into the chair. Because, like, turn yours on for a sec, Zindern. Just so,
Oh yeah,
so
just
chat can
I'll
bask.
show you the disappearing a hand sack.
While Mono's coming back, so chat can bask. Because it's impressive for what it is. You don't have a green screen or anything. Like, it's surprisingly decent. There it is.
There it is, yeah. And then
It's really surprisingly decent.
behold,
Until you start trying to move your hands. And then it's got no
There's-
idea what it's doing.
Ah.
Selwyn's cantrips being performed
Yeah.
live on stream. With his mutating half-invisible hands. You get, like, active camo.
The worst
So-
camo ever made.
Do we all have our second level stuff already? I don't know how much the
Yes.
sheet auto calculates, but I'm pretty sure it's basically everything that you don't have to make a choice on.
Just about everything
Besides your
except feats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Or skill
you,
increases in my case.
yeah, anything you have to
spells.
like pick to apply to your characters. So spells, feats, skill increases, everything else it just does automatically. The Roll20, this is a brief shout out because I feel like I don't appreciate Roll20 enough because it vastly majoritively frustrates me. But the Roll20 Pathfinder Second Edition character sheet is fucking phenomenal. You just change this number to 2 and absolutely everything updates. So keep in mind, as we're going into level 2, I mean that. Absolutely everything updates. As we're going forward, if I ask you for a number, check it. Because seriously, with proficiency, everything has changed. All of your attack rolls have gone up, all your saving throws have gone up, all of your skills have gone up, your armor class has gone up. Everything changes every level, which has been a huge pain for the actual table Pathfinder, because we need basically to print out an entirely new character sheet every level. They kind of lose efficacy very quickly. But we're all back. So, you rest for the evening. Zerg, your attempts to possibly woo Ulva, stymied for a moment by the professor gathering together all of the sideshow to discuss and double check. You're not really sure what for. But in the night, as everyone's laying down, the professor gets Ulva, Gedarin, Hesper and Midas, the Unjoined Twins, and even Cubby all together just to confer with them. Thus, shooting down that dream, unfortunately. The next morning, when you all awaken. Oh, okay.
During the evening, I guess, Aravis and Ara would find 2 buckets each of soil from the nearby riverbank, like really nice looking soil, or mud in this case, like prime looking mud, just waiting outside their caravans for unapparent reasons.
Is the bucket big enough for me to stand in?
Yes.
I stand in the bucket.
Okay, perfect. The lizard would see that. Keep walking away.
So this is in the morning, or?
No, in the evening.
Okay, so like as everyone's readying for bed, mud buckets just kind of appear. Well, Arbus isn't even in her wagon. She's just laying in the open, so you bring
I would bring it over to her wagon because I know she's doing things. I don't want to bother her.
So she probably wouldn't see him until the morning when she returns back to her wagon. And just finds
so
2
there's
buckets,
2 buckets of mud.
some prime
outside
creek
your wagon.
mud right outside her door.
Oh, look at this! I would just stuff my hands in it. I'd be smearing it on
Bunch
myself.
of weirdos in the circus.
Well,
Smelling
normal people don't
Don't
exactly
taste-
throw away their careers for a life in a traveling circus, so, you know,
Normal
such is
people aren't
life.
made of wood, so.
Also true.
it. Not you, maybe.
So, as the group of you awaken the next morning, fairly warm toil day morning. It's a decent low 60s, even fairly early in the spring as it is. The tent has come down. Most of the main support posts and everything that were upholding the big top where it is, they're dismantling as a job for another day. But the canvas of the tent itself has all been brought down by all the roustabouts and the workers that you bring along, your carpenters and your masons, to make sure that it wouldn't blow away or tear. That's not something that ever gets left over for a long time. So it's immediately a very noticeably different area. And it means that you have this interesting kind of just big dirt ring with your setup of the racks of seats and bleachers around the 3 rings in the ground and just posts indicating where the canvas itself once was. That's all been loaded into a full wagon that's just dedicated to holding that enormous several sheets of tarp. But as you all wake up now with this incredibly eventful day behind you, what is your morning? What's a morning routine look like for Selwyn, for instance? So when you're not preparing for a show, you're just getting up for the day.
Wake up, stretch, and then feel every single bite mark on me. And make like a pain expression.
A lot of bite marks. You're in quite a
Fuck.
swarm.
Yesterday was great, but yesterday fucking sucked. And I'll get out of bed and get outside. And my daily ritual.
What does your wagon look like? You've got a personal wagon too. You have one of these big.
Mine
full
is
trailered wagons.
filled to the brim almost with scattered pieces of parchment and assorted weapons that I had fighting fancies about earlier in my life, as well as many books about a myriad of things, about languages, about poetry, history, magic. Is just a really wide array, just scattered around. There's no sense or logic to it.
So it's just stuff.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. So, how about you, Arbus? What's Arbus's morning?
I would
Because
try
you
to.
have like magic and stuff to ready. How do you?
Yeah, I would try to get higher, like be up in a tree or something as I prepare my spells for the day with talking to the sky in Druidic, obviously, so no one can understand what I'm
This is
saying.
regular crazy person stuff.
It's just a lot of that and picking flowers from the area that we're in and putting them in hair and weird braids and just a lot of different things.
Your own assorted various.
I think your audio. Oh. Your
Huh?
audio
There it
is
goes.
kind of going in and out.
We can't
was
hear
it?
you.
Yeah. Oh, it's good now.
You're good.
I don't know if I missed anything.
Nope.
I feel
Oh,
like
no,
I
it's
heard
gone.
most of that. Me?
Yeah.
Yep, you.
Oh, I have. I don't know.
It's
Nothing
working,
nothing
yeah.
I can do about that. Nothing's changed. So like,
Well,
it's
you're
gonna work
good
or
now.
it isn't. So, you with your various tributes to nature, attuning yourself, however you do, spending your morning largely alone, I would imagine, apart from everybody else.
I would also be paying attention to the clouds, maybe looking for some sort of storm in the distance, anything, every single day.
For the moment, the skies look clear. There is barely a cloud in the sky, and certainly not a storm coming. It's looking to be a fairly nice, warm, early spring day. Lizard Man, Zerg, you two share a wagon, which is largely a cart. Yours is down the southern end of this whole campground here, and down by just the assorted sprawling stones and boulders that mark kind of the edge of the campsite. What do you guys do?
Completely naked. Yeah, Lizard. Another day of being number 2 for you, huh?
Do you want food? Do you want a lot of food or a little food?
All right, I'm sorry. A lot of food, please.
Yeah, well, put your pants back on, and by the time I get back with lots of food, maybe we can, practice and see who's actually stronger, because I think we have found out multiple times that it is not who many think it is.
One.
Yes.
Besides, you
Hello.
need to work on legs again. Your legs are looking a bit scraggly.
Hey, listen, that's not fair. It's been a long week, okay? You know I'm sensitive about my legs. That's a low blow, Lizard.
I'm getting more food so that you can work. Don't worry.
All right.
All right, Ara, our plants, who has a largely just empty wagon to transport his various ropes.
I
and
want to
hoops.
add on. There's actually is stuff in the wagon, little carved
Okay.
wooden toys. R spends most of his downtime doing whenever he's not mimicking other people.
Just like
Yeah.
whittled little.
Yeah,
Bits that you make yourself?
Yep.
Okay.
He likes to give them out to kids after shows. We didn't have a chance this time because there was a murder mystery. but
Yeah,
yes.
it's kind of a lot going on this time. Unfortunately, didn't really get to take
didn't
that
either.
one too well.
Yeah, but he spends most of his mornings one thing, not catching himself on fire, but doing sorcery stuff. It looks like he's on fire a lot of the times. And then whittling toys and doing other weird plant things, just staring off into the sun, and then walking around the campsite mimicking people working.
Such a weird little doll. But as you all ready yourselves, preparing with your various daily rituals and your magics, I mean, you will all live out of wagons at a traveling circus, so you don't exactly have great access to beds and showers, but that's exactly why you park up by a creek. And it's standard morning ritual for most of you, honestly, to end up about as naked as Zerg. You're all very familiar with each other here at this show. You don't just work together, you live and travel together. And most of the time, you have access to a small pond or a creek like this to bathe in, and nobody wants to smell horrible all of the time. So it's, again, a very close-knit communal family. As you're finishing all of this up, kind of readying for the day, you would notice a man coming through the campground. And he looks a bit older, largely balding, his hairline having receded most of the way up to the top of his head, but very well dressed, with a simple brown hat that he's taken off as he enters the campground and just sort of holds in front of him. And he stops to quickly chat with the first random roustabout performer he walks past near the edge of the campground. Are you all at this point reconvening or doing your own thing? Who
Yeah,
has the
general
map
area.
as a follow-up question?
I believe I probably would.
Definitely not me.
So as you're all finishing up and at least kind of around each other, you would see this man, and you'd recognize him. He definitely was at the circus yesterday, and you only recognize him because he was seated in the front row, right in front of the center ring. He was the best seat in the house. And based on the amount of money he looks like here in Abberton, that's not terribly surprising. But after a quick exchange with some other roustabouts, and them pointing towards your direction, and the man confirming, turning and pointing towards you as well, he nods and heads straight into the camp towards the group of you. And as he approaches, hails you with his free hand. Ah, yes, the group of you, this, you're Miss Salwyn, and Arabis, the Empress of the Wild. Zerg? Perfect.
I'm
Everybody
smelling
that I
it.
was
I'm
looking
getting
for.
real close to smelling the space.
What, she gets
Kinda
her
like-
title and I don't?
Leans back a little bit, a little concerned as this dirty woman is sniffing him. Ah, yes, fantastic. Hello. Good morning. I'm Mayor David Holden, Mayor of Abberton. I heard of your deeds yesterday. Of course, I saw your performances, but I'm not sure if you have a title for him. Your promoter? Your advertiser? The man with the raspy voice? The older? Silver hair?
Oh, the old man of the group.
He
Professor?
introduced
Professor?
himself simply as the professor, but so well, that's fair enough then. I'm not much in tune with circus life. I apologize. Do you have
Oh,
a
yes, all
moment?
PhDs. Come on.
I'm
Respect the
sorry?
man's work.
Well, I mean no insult, of course, but do you all have a moment? I'd like to speak with you in private, if we can.
I have nothing but moments.
If you can wait until I've eaten something, I don't listen so good when I'm hungry.
I would take whatever I was eating and pull out the front of Zerg's unitard here, pull it out, and just drop it in and snap it back to his chest. Let's go, buddy.
Are you-
Yeah, that's good.
Are you his keeper? Is that what's happening
Nah.
here?
I don't take responsibility for that, man.
So you guys are all just kind of around the center of the campground at this point, having just finished up everything. Just sort of in a field, in an area where everything had happened yesterday. And he just sort of looks around and that this thing taking place. Yes. Of course then. Well, first of all, I appreciate your time. And again, I want to lead with that your show, the circus that you put on yesterday was spectacular. It's the talk of the town, even still today. But, well, this morning, I heard the news of, well, whatever it was that had happened last night. I heard you'd been attacked by someone. Unfortunately, by the sound of it, from our town, or perhaps from the Hermitage of Lightning.
No
That's-
skin of our teeth.
What? Sorry?
No skin of our teeth. It all swallowed and swell.
And he kind of shifts, looks around a little uncomfortable. Well, I'm glad to hear at least it ended without any further loss of life. Well, none of yours anyway. But, truth be told, our little town here has been terrorized for weeks. It's been wrought with problems since long before you lot showed up. And I'm truly, terribly sorry that you all got wrapped up in this.
Right.
Look, I-
All right, so who do we have to kill? What do you want?
Not like we have to kill some Hermitage of Lightning. So
No.
I would say.
You see, this is part of what I'm coming to ask. I'm concerned. I can't. I would like to believe I can't see anyone from this town to be involved in such villainy as took place last night, but I can't even begin to believe anyone at the Hermitage would be responsible either. The hermits are very devoted to their Gozreh, the god of storms and nature, as I understand. They're very
Storm
kind.
Lord.
Stormlord. The wind and the waves, they call him. Yes?
That is correct.
I don't know much of the study, of course. I'm not a part of their... I mean, he seems like he's struggling for a word here. Then just kind of gestures towards Arabis.
What?
Well, the Hermitage. I don't...
Their order?
I don't want to... I know many pious folk, religious sorts, take their terminology and their phrasings very appropriately, and I truly do not wish to offend in any way. I just lack the knowledge, is all. But their master, Reginald Hamdiel, is a fine person. He loves animals and nature and all that. Yeah. Gozreh things. It's impossible to imagine him countenancing anything like what had happened last night. But I've heard scattered details and rumors brought throughout the town, and I've heard the account of your professor, but by all accounts, it's one of these Gozrehs, one of their mages that had attacked you.
Technically correct, yes. No different than if someone with a knife had attacked us.
She lost her way.
Look, I'm truly beating around the bush here, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but
Well, then don't beat around the bush.
And get to the point.
Abberton's had a lot of challenges lately, and well, I can understand why the druids might be upset. They read signs in nature, right? Arabis, you're not of their hermitage, but you're of a similar faith. Are you a follower of Gozreh yourself?
Yes, the Storm Lord. I am.
As I
From.
imagined,
Yes.
there's been little rain, fields have gone dry, the heat's withered plants, and a cold snap froze what survived. The winds pulled what's left of the topsoil up into dust storms. Many of the wells in town have dried up in the streams. He gestures towards the creek running through the campground. I've never seen them so low. Some of them have vanished entirely. I mean, nature, it goes in cycles, I know. A lot of us figure we need to be patient. The rains will come back. But some of the hermits haven't seemed disagreeable. They've blamed us for overworking the land, over-farming. I don't know. I believe we've done something wrong, but we've lived no different than we always have. And over the last month, things have gotten really bad. Hamema got attacked by a wild boar in the street. The miller and her family have gone missing. No one to blame if they left town, but maybe they were driven off. I take this to the sheriff in town normally, but no one's seen her either. And Look, the professor talked real highly of your actions yesterday. I heard how you went out of your way, risked your own lives to protect the innocents behind you. And, well, I thought maybe I could ask you to do the same for us that you've done for them. If you could, I'd gladly head to the Hermitage, and I'd speak with Reginald myself about the woman who attacked you last night. I can get you permission to go speak with him yourselves.
How much you pay?
A bit less delicate than I would have put it, but surely there is something in it for us.
And he, of course. I am the mayor of the town. I can scrounge together some amount of gold, but like I said, times have been real lean. We've little to trade for those that come through, those that have even bothered to keep coming. But certainly I could round together some gold pieces. We'd pay what we could, I guarantee you.
Are you sure you've been kind to the nature around? Because the Storm Lord, if he chose to punish you, there is a reason.
I walk up to Selwyn, hand her Clara, and said, "You should probably help. It's a good thing to do, right?"
Good thing to do is sleep and eat and get strong.
Well,
Yeah.
alright, it goes like this.
This is good
Sometimes-
thing to do.
And he
Sometimes good
reaches.
thing and profitable thing overlap.
He
That's when you
opens
strike.
up his jacket and reaches down inside, fumbling around for his small, fairly elegantly made coin purse. And he opens it up and sifts through. I can give you what I have on me right now. I got 10 gold pieces. Please, I know
That'll
this is.
do.
Yeah, sure.
And he hands him out to Zerg. He says, "I know it's not much to go on. There's not much direction here. And truth be told, I I don't have a proper task to give you, really, but can you just
Look
can you
into
help
it.
us? We've families missing. The sheriff's up and gone. Wild animals, like I said, attacking in the street. I don't know what to say. We're just desperate at this point, I suppose.
Zergo, look inside the bag.
We didn't hand you the bag. He handed you 10 coins out of the bag.
Oh, I
And
thought you
as
had to
he-
be the whole bag.
No, as he takes it back, you can hear like a little bit of clinking inside, but it's clearly mostly empty. But he pulled 10 gold pieces out to hand you.
Oh, okay. 1, 2.
Oh God.
So do you want me to do the counting?
Wait. I lost count now. You see what you've done?
I think it was on 1.
1, 2. Why is everybody looking at me? You do it then. I'll hand it to Selwyn.
And I'll go like
That's
1, 2,
just-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like,
Just
just
goes-
rattle
just
off the numbers
flips
very
through 'em.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Yes.
He looks across at the group here, still with his hat kind of held in front of him. Well, as I said, I want to help whatever way I can, and the best I know is my connection with Reginald. Do you think it'd help to speak with the druids? With those up under the hermitage of Blessed Lightning?
Worth a shot. Well, let's rock.
Right. I'll have you an audience then. Regardless of disagreements we've had, it's, like I said, they're kind folk. Give me a few days. They're not terribly tenable, hospitable to outsiders sometimes. They're a bit reticent to let them see the inner workings of their... even I really have never been in much past the foyer. But I'll do what I can, and please, I beg of you to do the same for us.
I like a man who protects his family.
And he raises his hat and puts it up on his head. Well, I may not have much to speak of these days. And Abberton's all I got. They're
Oh,
all my
that's fine.
children. It's my responsibility to look after them. Thank you. Kindly, all of you. And tips his hat to one side of the group and then the other before turning and heading back towards town.
Aren't we an awkward group of people?
Yeah,
Oh,
goddamn
we're not friendly to
circus.
outsiders. Like, what kind of have you ever met like?
Yeah, goddamn carnies!
There's the insiders
lizard.
and the outsiders.
We need to make friends with the outside in order to make money. It's a simple facet of life. If we don't bring in the people, we don't make anything. Anyway, Leaf, do you still have Clara? Are you finished with her?
Not yet.
Again, he would need Clara for a day.
A whole
Try
day
and
of
transfer
doing
that
nothing.
Rune over, and beyond that, you're gonna need some. You have your own personal magic, but you're gonna need some essences, some filaments, some vellum and tools, some magical equipment to transfer the rune over. It's gonna take about 3.5 gold of materials to do. It still takes a decent amount of magic to draw the rune and move it.
Yes. All of that. Yes, voice in my head.
Oh, we just got another 10 goals. So, you know, I feel like Clara is as much as the family as the rest of us. So we should spend from the party share pool for her.
Party shared pool that's in your pocket. Got it.
Well, currently in my pocket, yes. I'm not gonna filch.
Did you? Did you just pocketed the 10 gold?
Well, for now, I mean, where
What
else
is
am I
he
gonna
gonna
put
do?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Maybe you guys will beat Selwyn, I'm sure, if she tries to yoink any of this gold. It's
Yeah.
just like, there's a part of my GM brain screaming classic RPG blunders that the party rogue is responsible for the finances.
Look,
A
I'm not
story
chaotic
I've heard
neutral.
many times
Well,
before,
look at
rarely
the
with a happy
options
ending.
here.
You're right,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, we
Alright.
have someone who
Better
can't count
options.
a leaf,
A druid.
a druid who hasn't been part of civilization almost all her life, and then a lizard who came from like a jungle or something. I'm the closest thing we come to normalcy in this
I was
party.
about to say the gnome is the normal one in this party.
Yeah.
The gnome rogue is your default. What a life we live. So, as Mayor Holden leaves and heads back into town, you have your money. The professor heads over as well, towards the group of you now, a little curious, an eyebrow raised. Ah, I see David got to you before I this morning. He's enterprising. Still a lot of youth left in him, more than I can say, unfortunately. What?
Don't say that, Professor.
I've
You've got plenty of
seen
spring in your step.
not as much as I'd like to have retained, unfortunately. I spoke with him last night. I took the sideshow out into town to follow up somewhat on whatever had happened with this Ariad woman. Well, and to rid ourselves of these, well, corpses strewn throughout our camp. Didn't want to dump them into the creek. Seemed ill-advised and didn't want to leave them too close either. An odd superstition. I don't know what these druidic sorts are capable of. Arabus, I lack your knowledge. But we also got to speak briefly with Mayor Holden, and he told us of some of our ills, and I figured that you five had done more than enough for us, and all of your family with the Wayward Wonders, and it was high time for us to carry our weight as well. So we've investigated some of these problems for you. Learned what we could. Spend the evening searching, speaking with the townsfolk, and I don't know what Mayor Holden asked of you, but hopefully some of this could be helpful.
Yes.
Well, what did he seek exactly?
It was very vague in nature, if I'm honest. As far as I gathered, times have been rough. Everything sucks. Druid suspected.
That seems about right, yeah.
'Cause as far as I can tell from him, the Hermitage of Druids was the last ones that he suspected, and he thought this halfling to be an outsider of sorts. Regardless, here, Ulva, and he motions over, most of the sideshow kind of gathering around behind him, ready. And she steps forward and nods her head towards the group. Yes, I unfortunately was not able to find much. Did he send you seeking the miller's missing family?
Yes.
No.
Well, that was one of his requests.
Well, that was part of it. It was just seeing what's going on, right? Well, we're not specifically contracted for the family, right?
And the bearded man, Gadarin, steps forward. Well, regardless, we found lots of useful information that'd be helpful to you, and just full stop. If we're going to continue performing in Abberton, a populace in disarray without money isn't going to have much spare coin to spend at our shows, are they?
True.
And pushing his way through his legs, Cubby looks up. We, regardless, might as well help out if we can. I figure it's what good and proper folk could do. I
love you so much, Coffee.
I'll start
say that.
then. He just kind of keeps talking. I'll start then, seeing as no one's really looking to take the lead here. I was looking to follow up on these druids. You know, I got a pretty good view of what happened last night. About the only one not tied up in those writhing plants come to life around the campfire. But the Hermitage is pretty far from here. That'd be a real long journey for legs as short as mine. But they do got a church here in Abberton. I don't know nothing about all your gods and whatnot, but I figured might be some kind of a connection. That's a different symbol, though. It doesn't seem to be nature and whatnot. It's the house of gold and laws, all plated with golden leaf and filigree, a big old set of scales blazoned above the front door.
Yeah.
Whole area's fenced in. It looks to be the town's graveyard as well. I sniffed around it a bit, obviously. I'm not the best to really head in and try to talk for information. You know, I unsettle people a little bit, but it smells a bit off. Sure, it's a graveyard and all, but there's something unnatural lurking back there for sure. And if no one steps up, then Uwe will step forward again. Yes. And I headed out to the Millers to investigate, as we had heard that family had disappeared entirely. It was unable to even get far inside the door. It's wholly infested with wasps. Aggressive, stinging. It seems unusual. I am far of your level of knowledge, Arabis. But they were not acting as normal wasps would. They moved to attack, not to defend. I don't know
There's a
where
lot
they're...
of that going around these days, apparently.
It's very possible they have been influenced. I looked around outside as well as I could, but I have seen no evidence of the miller or her family. Everything about the mill seems to be functioning as far as I can tell. It is unlikely they simply abandoned it, with the stone still grinding, the water wheel still turning. Something is off, to be sure. And Gadara and the bearded man raises a hand. Well, very well then. I don't know if this is going to be as much a sort. This is not so much nature and animals rising up and corpses in a graveyard or whatever it is Cubby had smelled, but Abberton's plagued by its fair share of mundane woes as well, as a gang called the Muggers. And not named that for the reason you might expect. They seem to hang out around a roadhouse slightly outside of town called the Mad Mug. Spend all day drinking and all night causing trouble. Near ran afoul of a couple of them myself while I was trying to look around. The sheriff had been trying to break up the gang for some time, but with her disappearance, they could become more trouble. And then the two unjoined twins, as everyone sort of turns to them as they're the last ones left to give their report. They both turn to each other. Just kind of both gesturing for the other to start, and neither going particularly quickly.
I'll just point to one of them.
So you point to Hesper, and she speaks up. Oh, yes. We spoke with Emma. Very nice old lady. Grandmotherly. Had recently sold her farm on the outskirts and moved into town. And then Matus speaks up. She'd been attacked by a wild boar in the street. Nearly gored right through. A miracle she managed to survive. And Hesper speaks back again. She ran, of course. Bolted away. Who wouldn't? She's unhurt, thank goodness. As for the boar, it's been spotted in an orchard on the outside of town. And it's not alone. Apparently there's a whole brood of smaller ones with it, just as nasty and ill-tempered as the mother. I don't know that boars really are pack animals as far as I can tell beyond a family unit. But again, not really a nature expert. But something that's definitely dangerous and merits investigation.
I'll turn to Arabis. Are boars pack animals?
And Cubby just kind of shakes his head, look at the unjoined twins. I hate you two.
Love Cubby.
Cubby's the best.
Who's a grumpy little dog?
He just looks at Selwyn. Don't do that.
It's just so
Why
hard.
you not
not
always
to.
like this?
You're so cute.
Can't you just be normal for 5 seconds?
We're in a circus.
I
It's
wanna
not in the
ride-
job description.
I want to ride Cubby.
Well, I've said all I know. If there's nothing else needed here, I had to find a tree to piss on and a different one to shit behind. Lads, and turns and heads off towards the tree line.
Bye, Cubby.
Hi, Cubby.
What a good dog.
He's a good boy.
Selwyn, how can a mug be mean? It's a object.
Well, you see, it's not. Fuck, that's a good point.
Have you ever been hit by a mug?
I was confused.
Well, I'll run back into my wagon and start searching for all my books. What will be the roll to know the etymology of mean mocking?
It's the Mad Mug, first of all. And I don't know if there's anything you're really going to be able to find to help you there. That one seems difficult.
I'll come back after like 15 minutes. I have no idea.
Meanwhile, the rest of you, while everyone else is still here, the professor will speak up. It does seem unfortunate. I guess I could understand Mayor Holden being overwhelmed. It sounds like a lot going wrong at once. Did you show him the map, by the way? Does he know about the map at all?
You wouldn't know about the map, yes.
The professor would?
The professor would. The rest wouldn't.
Okay. So, he would nod down towards Selwyn. And it just does seem to line up largely. This halfling, whatever she had done, she had the mill and that orchard circled. By what we've discovered, the mill's overrun by wasps and the orchard infested with boars. It fits. There's nothing there about the church or the mad mug, but those may be unrelated concerns. Still,
They'll come into play later, maybe.
I don't know. I don't have all of the answers. This is what we've been able to find in the night.
It's been very helpful. Thank you very much, Professor.
It's the least we could do. You quite literally saved all of our lives at least twice over. But if there's no further way we can assist, Cubby's in the right of it. I'm well knackered and need a rest. I'll be in my wagon, sleeping, if you desperately need me. But sarcasm aside, I'll help in any way I can. Be safe, would you? After seeing this halfling yesterday, I'm concerned about what she may have wrought through the town. And he leaves, and the unjoined twins would bow out shortly afterwards as well. Ulva, with a raised eyebrow and a nod towards Zerg, and leaving just the bearded man, Gidar, in there. Well, is there anything else you need from me?
I think we're good.
Very well then. What is it you plan to do? If
I think
may be
we'll
so bold.
Figure that out in just a moment. We're not the most organized group, are we?
We're very spontaneous.
I'll give a big smile.
Traveling circus, after all. Would expect nothing less. Best of luck to you. I hate to just echo the professor, but do stay safe. If there's any way we can help out, I'm more than happy. Not much in a fight, but we can ask around and handle mundane and simple tasks for you should you need. Not much needs doing around the campsite until we're ready in for another show. Look at these posts down by the afternoon. Seeing as he just kind of looks around, back down to Selwyn. Well, I don't know, nothing official really, but it kind of seems like everyone sort of turned to you as the interim ringmaster.
Well, I'd like for that interim to become a permanent.
I think everyone around would be glad to see it as well, lass.
Woo! Promotion!
Congratulations, Selwyn. Congratulations. That's how it's supposed to say, right?
Yeah, perfect. Got it. Nailed
He'd
it.
just nod off with an odd salute and head back to his wagon. You know where to find me. Well, party. That's a lot of shit.
Leave? How much time do you need with Clara?
Well, a day, but it could wait. If we want to get jumped on it now.
But I want Clara to be shiny.
Well, if you
Can all
think we
this
can
wait for a day? Do we have anyone else who can do it? That isn't one of us?
Well, the problem is it's a pretty heavily involved magical task. It is relatively difficult to do. And nobody has that level of expertise except Gidarin, the bearded man, maybe. He's incredibly handy, and while he works in a sideshow, is kind of almost the de facto leader of the roustabouts. Tulip might have some ability from her previous life, from her Pathfinder Ranger expertise, and well, as much as you hate it, Mardraine does seem to be pretty skilled in a variety of ways. She has no proper magic, but this process can also be done very wholly alchemically. You don't have to be capable of magic yourself to transfer the rune. You just need the ingredients and the know-how.
Immediately stop the bearded man as he's walking away, and ask if I could have the sickle as well as the sword from Leaf.
Okay.
Sweet. Thank you. Perfect. And I'll just walk over, hold up the sickle and the sword. One has magic, one doesn't. Can you magic one to the other? That'd be awesome. That's all I need.
Sullivan, that's make some instructions for this one. That's a little beyond the chopping wood and moving stone that I'm used to. I mean, can I? Possibly, but I got no idea how to begin. It's just magic. Not the slightest bit of. Do I need anything? Can you walk me through it? Can you find me someone who can?
I'll walk back and pull Ara. He knows. Good luck extracting the information, though.
I just stare at him.
Ara. All right then. I suppose you can give me the over/under on how to perform this particular sword surgery.
Well, you just got to do some magical stuff and take this and put it from this onto this.
I understand the core concept, lad, but he just wiggles his fingers. I ain't got magic myself.
Oh, well, I don't know exactly how to do it either.
What?
It just works.
Surely it's not as simple as prying the thing out of the one and welding it onto the other. I mean, we got a forge, we got hammers, we got tongs. Is it that straightforward? Because I can manage that. Can't guarantee you how well it'll hold. The different metals looks like.
All right, I didn't want to have to do this. I know for a fact she was a ranger, right?
It was
in
a
the
Pathfinder Ranger, yes. Not like Ranger
yes.
the class, like that was her job.
All right, where the fuck is Mordraine?
Oh, here we go.
Mordraine at this point would be in town. Again, she does not stay in her wagons. Her wagons are absolutely full of, one of them is just a massively plushed appointed waiting area where she sits, and the other is completely full of her things, which is largely just a massive array of closets and crates that hold all of her crap that she hauls around with her. She's in town, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, luckily, that's where we're going.
Yeah. I guess if no one minds, we'll go to town and find Mordraine. And then we'll continue the investigation from there. Is everyone good with that plan? Any objections?
Really wants that
Yeah,
shiny sword.
Fine to me.
Yeah, we'll
Let's do it.
run with it as we go. So, let me bring us to here. This is the good little dingus hamlet of Abberton. Not
Aw.
particularly large. It's not particularly fancy. And your ruler does function here, by the way, to give you general distances. But just for kind of an idea of the town size here, I mean, you can see your tent, and you can see your camp over here. It's not very big. You're only about 1,000 feet out from the main, but not even that, from the main road leading into the town itself, and it's just not a large place. So, you know where Mordraine's staying, at an inn here. Oops, that was a GM layer playing, my bad. At an inn here, not too far into town near the center. It's one of the only real inns that Abberton's got, and it's quite simply named the Hog's Head. Y'all would have seen it when you were coming through, setting up, doing your business in town. May have stopped in there for a drink or some food more than once. Real identifiable, just a big wooden sign. The whole thing shaped like the disembodied head of a pig. Not masterfully done, and not really appealingly done either. Like, it's just been ripped off with bits of carved flesh dangling off and some spine jutting out below it. with just big ol' X's where the eyes should be.
Who owns this establishment?
Well, you don't know the proprietor personally.
Selwyn.
I don't know the proprietor personally.
But you can head in town to the Hog's Head to meet up with Mordrain fairly easily.
Great.
So, as you get there, early in the morning, out already in the floor at the bar getting a drink at the, 9:30 a.m. that it is currently is Anzu, her little halfling manager, promoter, whatever it is you want to call him. And as he sees the group of you come in, he just raises a mug and an eyebrow before turning back around to the bar. Sitting there, not super alone either.
I'll take a deep breath, swallow, deep down.
Swallow that pride.
Follow every bit of pride you have in you.
You can just be patient.
Hi, Ansu. How's it going? Just the man I was looking for.
He turns back to look at you. And sitting up on the bar stool, he's almost as tall as most of the rest of you, other than, of course, Selwyn and Ara, who probably doesn't come up to the bar stool itself. And he just looks down at you. That's an odd mindset. Not one I've really seen come at you before, Selwyn. What brings the excitement?
Well, I was wondering, since your charge is so multi-talented, I know she's a magician, right? That's all fake magic. You know, I can.
What do you
I can
want, Selwyn?
Well, can you do actual magic?
And he just kind of, again, looks down at you, turns back and takes a big swig of his mug and slaps it down on the counter. I'd imagine by this point, she can't. Actual magic like Arabis and the plant do. No, certainly no. If you
All right,
need
see ya. I'll turn to leave.
He just shakes his head and turns back to the bar. God damned. Worthless louts. Someone turns his walk back out. The rest of you, are you all waiting outside? Are you there in?
Yeah, I was just waiting outside.
I would have
Selwyn.
drifted away, and I'm just sort of standing at the bar, looking at people.
You want to come in?
I'll look back and see Aramis just standing there. Go back up, pull her by the sleeve. We're leaving.
Zeg, it's killing me. What was the number after 2? Can you? I know. Selwyn said it real fast. I know we've been practicing, and it was 1.
It was 5.
And
Well,
Joel says 5. Does 5 sound right to you?
when we practice punches, we go 1, 2,
and 2, and then 1.
1. So 1.
And 2. 1. I thought. See, Selwyn
1 is
said.
after 2.
Selwyn said something else, I think.
Well, Sylvan is wrong. Clearly, it's okay.
Okay. Well,
Someone
He's
comes out of
wrong
this. This
often.
is about when you come out. You weren't in there very long.
Well, who's wrong
Okay.
often?
Eh?
Who's wrong often? That's all I caught.
We don't know anyone named Offen.
What?
I don't know what they were talking about either, Selwyn.
The lizard and I talking serious business. You go and do
Yeah.
your fancy things.
I want to hear this. What's going on?
We're,
By the way, Morin can't do magic. It's all bullshit.
Duh.
well,
Bullshit.
I guess we can
Yes.
go to the Eltrid.
I can't do
apples.
magic either. What is the problem?
Neither can I.
Same.
It's sus.
I'm gonna
Wait,
give you
what?
guys a block. This block is gonna be the where the party is block. So we
I
can
like it.
navigate
Oh,
around.
I've seen you make fire from nothing. You can do magic.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The most functional group.
Uh,
So, on your way into town, that's a river, I'm stupid. On your way into town, this is the road. You would have passed right by the church here, off the side of the road, and passed by its largely fenced-in graveyard. It's a fairly big, sprawling area, but from what you know about the town, you would also know that you can see the mill in the distance here. Not quite 200 yards away, just on the edge of town. So 2 of the areas that might be worth investigating are right here.
Are we ready to go to the mill? That's the one with the angry wasps, so maybe we should, I don't know,
Yes.
go
well,
in a sheet or something. I don't know how, like, if...
How long would it take me to identify something?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I
All right.
identifying any magical item is just 10 minutes.
Right. Do I need detect magic for that?
You do not. No. Which is weird, but
Oh.
as far as I can tell, in Second Edition, identifying items does not actually require you to have any kind of magical ability yourself. You just have to use the skill check of one of the magical traditions to do it.
Right.
There is actually
What would-
no requirement of detect magic or R reading or anything.
Yeah, I would like. What would it take for me to understand the process of taking out a rune and putting it somewhere else? And what role is that? For me to explain it to someone else.
For you to understand just like the process itself, that'd probably be
Right,
I
yeah,
would say
so-
Arcana. Your magical tradition is arcane, right? Your gnomish magic. It's innate, but is it
yeah.
arcane or is it nature?
If
primal,
it's, as well say, if it's coming from Fey, a Fey bloodline, it would probably be primal.
It's
yeah.
primal, yeah.
So it would be a nature check then for you.
Oh. I have a Karna. I'm at like that's the one I'm trained in.
You what?
I have Arcana. That's the one I'm actually
All right,
trained in.
you can Arcana then. If you're trained in that, and that's what you know. Because it's not.
Yeah.
It's any tradition. So if Arcana's the one you know, then Arcana.
That is a 20 on the
Yeah,
16.
so you would largely understand the processes involved. It's again quite complicated, and you would need to swing by a store here in town to be able to buy the materials that you need. Like if you're going to do it fully alchemically, a various amount of elixirs and tinctures and powders that are used in the extraction process to retain the magic and not destroy the rune itself.
Right. I'll say, can you guys hold on like 10, 20 minutes?
I don't know where to be.
Sweet. I'll run off to the store, buy the things, run back to the camp. Like I'm sprinting as fast as I can, just holding all these
Okay.
things.
So
and then
you just
talking
run
to
in, you know
the
vaguely
bearded
what
man.
you're looking for. It's a bunch of basic reagents. You're not buying like
Yeah.
fully completed potions and elixirs. It's like weird components. Slap 3.5 gold on the table. Sprint back, arriving at the circus grounds. I would imagine relatively out of breath. That's not an incredibly small distance. That's fairly far to sprint. And
I'll walk up to the bearded man, still out of breath. All right, it took a little bit. I think I can explain the process to you. And I'll hand him the materials and explain the best I can. And ask, can you do
he
it?
follows wrong, nodding. Once you've done all that, oh, that's right, simple then. Oh, this is going to be some kind of fancy magic hand-waving and incantation process. No, if this is simply the solvent, they combine that with this powder in the extraction process to make sure the rune itself doesn't... This is just mundane. What part of this is magical?
He was off on a tangent like Leaf always is. Don't worry about it. Can you do it?
Sure, I got to grab some tools from our forge, but I figure I
Right.
can probably make it happen.
I'll hand him Clara and the sickle. Please treat her with care.
And he looks down at it, raises an eyebrow, looks back at you. I'll give her the best I got, lass.
Thank you. I'll run him back into my wagon. Pick up a short sword.
How many short swords do you have?
I have 5. I have Clara, Cecil, Kevin, Calvin, and Bob.
You actually bought 5 short swords when you made your character.
Yes.
Okay. He picks up the 3rd short sword, and her tiny little gnomish legs sprint back into the center of town where the party is waiting, arriving probably like 10 minutes later. Absolutely just a ball of sweat, out of breath. Are these
Oh, we
immediately visibly different short swords? Or are they all fairly
no.
plain looking?
They're pretty plain looking.
Okay, so it's not like
I have a
everyone
second.
sees you
Yeah.
just have another short sword that you pull out of nowhere. It's not immediately obvious. Okay.
That's not clear.
I didn't take Bob.
So, party. How do we want to proceed from here? You fucking psychopaths.
It's a lot of breath.
Hey, Arbus, how do you kill a wasp?
There's a variety of ways, but we don't want to kill them, do we?
I mean,
How else do you deal with it?
I kind of do.
I would
Crush.
ask them nicely. No, in that crush. I ask them very nicely, and they move along.
Yes, you use your manners, please and thank you. Done.
But then they're dead, and that's we don't
Yeah, not a problem. Go on.
try to avoid the killing thing.
You know, wasps. They're evil.
They do
The
hurt.
only thing evil here is whoever is manipulating the balance of nature.
Didn't we
They
kill-
must be killed.
And we
Didn't
like
Didn't we already
draw
kill
them
her?
away.
But maybe there's another. It's
That's
still
right.
happening.
I think we should go to the mill.
I feel like at the end of this, there's going to be a lot of dead animals. I just want to warn you in advance, right?
Can we like lead them away with honey or something? Does that work with
That's bears.
bear? Really?
Yeah.
I was certain it was something like small insect that flew, but bears. Okay.
You think of bees?
Was
they
it
make-
bees?
They make the honey. Don't eat it. I don't think. Does it? Yeah, I mean, there's probably.
I like honey. It's good.
I like honey too.
It's
Maybe
very
we should get
tasty,
some honey.
yes.
Here's the point.
Let's go get some honey.
Here's
I'm hungry.
The objective.
I can
Here's
probably
the party.
find some good
Yeah.
stuff.
Lizard, you and I go get some honey. We come back.
I think it'll
For us, not for a wasp.
Wasp have
Oh.
honey.
do they?
What?
What?
Wasp make honey. That makes sense.
I don't
Oh,
think
I
so.
guess we should go to the wasps then. Because we could just get the honey from the wasps then.
Let's do that.
Okay, let's go.
All right,
Okay.
let's go.
You know, I hate the way there, but the conclusion's fine, so I'll follow.
I hate the process, but I can't argue with the results.
Ara is the master puppet master.
I
So
am
the,
very confused.
the group of you
So,
with
we're
your
just walk
morning.
in.
are going to head up to the mill up here. The old mill, the old Hofton mill in town. And as you approach, it doesn't seem to be... It's just as if, as Uvla had said, it's still working. It's perched on one of the larger rivers rolling through Abberton there that turns a fairly massive water wheel, which in turn works the grindstone inside. And that's all still functioning as far as you can tell. The wheel is still creaking along, turning, although the river is pretty receded. It's very low at the moment. And you approach the eastern side of the building here to a little garden, more or less,
How cute.
that you can see that they have kept up around the outside of the mill. It's a small town. It's both a mill and where the family lived. And this garden outside is very well kept. You can see a pretty impressive collection of tomatoes and pumpkins, some scattered herbs, and the sprouts of potatoes growing out around the ground. It's very, very well maintained.
Oh, quaint.
Now, as we are approaching here, we are going to move over to exploration mode. So what are you guys doing as you come towards the mill? Let's start with Lizard Man. Let's go down the list.
I am going to be searching for dangers or wasps or honey.
Dangers or wasps or honey? All right,
Yes.
so you're on alert. You're seeking. You're perception.
Yeah.
You're perceptionizing. How about you, Selwyn? Feel free to
I'll
juggle
be-
yourselves around the right edge of the map however you want here. This
Yeah.
is just how I
I'll be scouting and otherwise trying to stay hidden amongst the group. I'll be
Okay.
stealthing.
Hidden's going to be a little difficult because there's not...
Yeah. There's
It's
not,
kind of
I
just...
mean,
You're
it's an
approaching...
orchard, right? So there's gonna be trees.
Yeah, but at the moment you're just kind of approaching through some
Yeah.
grass.
But once I can, I'll
Right,
do that.
fair enough. Zerg, how about you?
Zerg is following Lizard Man because Lizard Man have good sense of smell for honey, which is all I really want. Hungry.
So you're kind of up here with Lizard Man, scouting with him, trying to.
A lizard man doing the scouting, I just follow. I'm
Okay,
not
fair
really
enough.
looking, not actively looking for anything, just kind of like, oh yes, you'll know where to go, I follow you. Yeah.
Just trundling. Have Arvis?
I would ask our Leshy friend to be aware of possible magics, if possible. Call it a feeling, and I would just be sort of looking for anything that I would know would be natural that's out of place or something that's off.
So do you want to be recalling knowledge then? What that will do is basically you're not actively seeking with perception, you're trying to think about your environment and process things that are strange, and so should something jump up, you'll get like an automatic knowledge check at the start of the combat, because you're more focused on not so much looking for things that are hidden or secret, but understanding what you're looking at and why things that are obvious, plain view may be out of place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Ara.
I'm casting Detect Magic a lot.
Detecting some magic. Just repeating that cantrip, keeping up basically a moving aura here. Now this garden is surrounded by a fairly low fence that pins it in. It would be trivial for anyone to just step over it. And inside the garden there is a pretty big but simple wooden double door leading inside, as well as a window. And from this angle you can see the millstone turning in the center of this, still worked by the water wheel outside. But there's nothing on it at the moment. Nothing's been placed there. It's just grinding away, just trundling. Now, the road leads around to the southern side of the building around here towards where it looks like the main entrance would be. So realistically, you guys would be like down here.
Okay. Well,
you can also see a front door and a window there as well.
I guess we just start going towards the door.
Start hiding behind the fence.
Sneaky beaky.
And then I guess we just start.
That's a window.
That's a window.
You can bash the window in, but as you.
I look through the window.
Yeah, looking into the window,
I don't
you can
see any honey.
Yeah, you can see the inside of this is one large, just massive, spacious chamber. The building itself is about 25 feet tall, but looking inside, it's just a huge room, largely around this millstone. But on the left, you can see there's a ladder that leads up to kind of a lofted area. You can see left of where you are on the left side of this building, there's a bit of a ridge. There's a hill here that goes up maybe 10 feet. And the whole building is built on the ground and then just with an extension kind of up on the top of that ridge where that ladder inside leads up to. But you don't immediately see any honey. No.
No buzzing around?
From outside here, you wouldn't be able to hear it really. Going towards the door, as you go to open it, it is locked. It is the front door of somebody's house.
And there aren't any other doors around here?
Well, there's the two doors from the garden, but you could, I guess, just step over the garden fence and head in from there, but the front door is locked.
I guess I would knock.
So,
what a polite lizard.
Some savage, are you kidding me?
As your scales just kind of echo across the door, you see on the inside of the window where Zerg is standing, a couple of wasps fly over and land around the edges of it. Their feelers just kind of touching around on the glass, investigating whatever this sound was. Just 2 or 3.
I don't see anybody inside.
Has Zerg seen the wasps yet?
Yeah, there's no perception check to see those. You're the one in front of the window. They're on the inside of the window. You can clearly see them, yeah.
He's gonna smash the window. $2.
I think
they're on the inside of the window, to be clear.
Yes, and he's going to smash the window.
Are they guardians?
This laughter tells me you're thinking about smashing a window, Mana.
Maybe I should simply
pick the lock.
I don't even have to say anything in your
We know Zerg's character. We know it by now. We got it.
Yeah.
Biography. Smash.
Are you doing that?
I seeing what Cirque's about to like. I'll hold up a hand. Because you can probably tell from his facial expression, right? He like
He's looking at the window and just a scowl.
Yeah.
He just pulls a fist back to punch the window out.
Cirque, do you think maybe I should just pick the lock?
Certainly the least destructive way into this building.
Not for nothing, but
notices the wasps in the window, by the way.
This isn't
and
our house.
he's gonna leave. Let's step back. I don't like wasps. Okay.
All right.
Pull out the thieves' tools. Ye olden. The classic.
So you are going to do your best to try to open this door the easy way. All right.
Also want to look. Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, someone's making a thievery check here.
Oh,
That's a hot one.
baby.
I haven't done this in a while.
Does thievery have a critical failure condition?
It does.
It breaks your lockpick thing.
Yeah.
It breaks your tools.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So you're like, I got this.
Skyrim shit.
You stick your lockpick in there. You put in your little pressure, the little lever just to apply some pressure to lock. Stick in your pick and start wiggling at what feels like a pin. As you go to pull it back, you don't realize you've stuck it up between two of the pins. You just hear a faint as the tip of your pick just snaps off inside the lock.
My pick! No!
Lizard Man, what were you doing while this is happening?
I guess I would walk around to the garden, step over the fence, and try
Roll
and
me
go
a
for the other
perception
door.
check as you head over to just step into the garden and check if their back door is locked.
Okay.
Because you are
No.
seeking.
My pick.
Oh, also a natural one.
Oh, baby.
So as you go to step over the fence here, you put your foot in some underlying herbs here that are growing underneath some more larger widespread leaves, kind of shielding it from immediate view. And you just step down into a bumble of thorns that scratch up against your scales. And they're very fine thorns, too. They're not like rose thorns, like those plants that have the almost the hairs
nettles.
that are
They're
just solid.
Nettles.
And those nettles just stick up in around the scales of your foot, and you can immediately feel a pretty extreme itching.
I hate plants.
Hey, that's rude.
Plants, no. Okay, plant, come deal with these other plants, because these plants are not nice.
Cirque,
Help.
smash the window. Fuck
Help
the
me.
store. Fuck this house.
Are you
Help me
continuing
over.
into the door?
Lizard, help me over the fence.
I'd grab him by one of his little horns and pick him up over the fence.
Thank you.
As you move in a little further and step back to give him somewhere to sit inside the fence, you hear a hissing sound, a hissing clacking of some sort. As from this undergrowth here, a massive spider,
Arbus.
4 feet across, skitters forth, followed by another darting out from the undergrowth immediately
This garden
behind.
sucks. We should go to a different garden for honey. This one, 0.
Listen, if it's this well protected, it must be delicious.
I'm gonna need you
Good
guys to roll
point.
me some initiative.
Why did it have to be spiders? Why couldn't it be follow the butterflies? You
Yeah,
fucking
right?
asshole.
Why?
Why did it have to be
Anything.
spiders? Of all things.
Ooh,
sorry.
another natural one.
Damn it.
Think how Aura feels about this right now,
We have
please.
3 natural ones in a row, by the way.
So these spiders are going to be
I roll-
rolling stealth for initiative. Selwyn, you are very much out of the view of this. And as you hear this activating, you can also roll stealth if you want.
I would like to.
Arbus, you are recalling knowledge, so once you get your initiative on the table, go ahead and roll me a nature check to try to identify these spiders as they burst forth.
Gotcha.
Well, the good news is my rolls are also pretty bad for initiative. So you got that going for you. Which is
My
nice.
nature is a 26.
Ooh.
I just had the biggest, oh my god, the biggest quick maths failure possibly of my entire life.
Don't tell
I forgot.
us.
I need to reload
We'll
that
think
for you.
less of you,
I was looking. I just rolled two d20s and I was gonna mentally add their modifier, and I rolled a 7 and a 9. And I'm looking, I was like, okay, 7 plus 7 is 14. So I put a 14 in. I was like, 7 plus 9 is 16. What? It can't be 16. 16 is only 2 higher than 4, and 9 isn't 2 higher than 7. Like,
You're doing Zerg
I
math.
thought about it.
Zerg
I
math.
straight up thought about it
One,
for 10
two.
seconds. Like, what? But 9 is more than 2 more than 7. How is it only 2 higher? I'm really dumb. And I put 16 in there. Oh, man. I am not smart. All right. So, Arabis, I got to remember it's a secret check for the future because you can misidentify them. But that is a
okay.
critical success. And these large hunting spiders are far and away the most common type of ginormous Galarian spider. They
Most
are
common.
the most common. They are relatively simple creatures. They do track much larger prey like humans. They're a very common... I mean, it makes sense you critically since you know a lot about these. These are a very common threat. Living in this world is awful. These are a very common threat to the people of Galarian.
Yeah, they're 4-foot spiders.
Wow.
And you can see what they do immediately. As a reaction, as part of rolling initiative, this spider is going to lunge towards Lizardman.
That's rude.
Not only are they poisonous, and the poison can be very dangerous, even lethal, they don't only spin webs over an area. Well, they do take an area that they command with a series of fairly surprisingly small webs. They can very quickly spin wads of web and fling them with pretty good accuracy to entrap prey. So, Selwyn. Selwyn or Ara? You both got 24, so who wants to go first?
I think Aura, because he is actually in the fight.
Ara is
He
in
would
the
probably
garden,
react.
so we'll start with Ara.
Yeah.
I want to start us off with a note that I am a plant and I am not prey. Those are 2 different P words.
It is actually true. You are biological enough that you have plant meat.
They prey to cows.
Plant meat.
You
Do
still,
spiders eat
because
meat?
you are a leshy, but you're still a biological creature. You have the plant traits. Wow, you actually probably don't have meat.
Yeah, I had the plant trait. I am a plant.
Well, they don't give a single shit about you actually. Wow. Okay. Well, Lizard Man, good luck.
Shit.
Man.
Good shit.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about you. Like,
So here's what I'm gonna do. Here's
that's
how
a
I'm gonna start
good
this off.
point.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna use Elemental Toss on the one that's next to Lizard Man.
Okay.
Fling some fire here immediately with a 24 to hit.
Oh, loud. So that's the one, right? The closest one you said?
Yes.
Well,
How's it only a 24? It's 27, but yes.
it's a natural 20, so it's a crit regardless.
Yes.
So you're gonna do double that 2 damage for 4 damage.
And then I have 2 actions left.
Yes.
I'm gonna take. I think it's only for 1 action. I'm gonna try to intimidate the spiders. No, I get the +1 intimidation for 1 round. Cool. So I'm gonna try to intimidate the spiders.
Okay.
Yep. It's
for it.
a hard feat with a -4 because they don't understand me.
Yes, because they don't.
But
Yeah, they
I'm-
don't speak a language, so
I'm a very threatening plant. So
spook them.
no, that one's
Oh.
Not threatening.
Let's
Not
try
even
the other
remotely
one.
threatening.
Let's try the further one away.
All right, second spook. Still
Nope.
not very threatening.
Nope.
What is his will DC? It's just his will DC that actually almost succeeds, but not quite. And that
Yep.
3 actions will bring us to Selwyn. As that fire
Yes.
splashes across the hunting spider, it's a solid hit, right in its, thorax on a spider. But it's just a huge creature. This thing is like 4 feet across. Its thorax, its actual body is easily 2.5. It's a huge spider, and it's just bulky. And an exoskeleton does a decent job of stopping fire from hitting. But as you hit this, you see a flash around the doorway that leads into the mill itself, as this fire seems to ignite something incredibly flammable with a searing blast. And the Lizard Man and that spider are both going to need to make reflex saves.
Oh great.
Oh no!
Oh
Do
my
we
God.
blow up the house?
Well, the door is
we-
closed, so it just blows up the doorway. And it's not explosive, it's a
25.
very quick, just fizzle and gone of fire. 25 critically succeeds. You will take no damage.
Wow.
Well, the spider failed and is going to take 4 damage from this just quick sear. Also, thank you to Squid Math for the $25 tip. A villain point should be 25 because it's 1v5, right? All right, I have a hero point now.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you.
Great. Cool.
Thank you, Squid Math.
Thanks.
Yikes. Come
I
on,
suppose
guys.
I am included in the list of people you can just give a hero point to with a $5 tip. So if you want to give them to me, feel free.
Gotta be at least $25.
Sell
Yep.
one.
Well, I'll hear this explosion and
Damn
Walk
straight you
over.
will.
what the fuck?
And this
one
would have happened and burned out before you even came around the corner.
So I
Like,
come
this is
around,
just
I don't even
flare
see
up.
anything.
You don't even see
You
any
just
fire.
hear it, and you're
You-
like, what the heck?
No, there's embers coming off.
You just
Aura.
hear like a
All right.
and you see a pretty burnt giant spider, and a second one in the bush is readying itself.
Right. So I'll just keep blinking for a second, and then after a specific blink, it just becomes this evil stare. And I'll try to intimidate the one in front of the lizard man.
We're gonna intimidate this fucking spider.
23.
23 succeeds. He is intimidated.
And I'll go like to the other one. And also intimidate that.
They differ frightened.
Another 23.
He is also frightened.
I softened them up for you.
You got intimidating glare it too?
Yep.
All right, so you just glare down at these spiders, their lack of language not mattering because they just understand the sheer horror this gnome
You
represents
need
for
to
them.
fear me.
And they cower. Arabus.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the one furthest away on the right and just hold out my hand to him and start talking in Druidic, because I don't think it matters what language I speak.
The language is largely irrelevant. The point is
Yeah, I
that you
didn't
can
think so.
basically impress your well on animals.
There is no reason for you to die too. Run away, live your life, and just try to diplomate.
Give me
Sure.
a diplomacy check. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. All right, so are you gonna hang back here pleading with the spider, or do you want to do anything else with your turn as well?
I still have what, 2 actions, or is that 2?
You would technically have 2 left, yes. A coerce is or a request is a single action.
That's all I'll do. I'll just do that. I'm just let
Zerg! You hear
Um,
things happening.
There's things. Well, I'll move. How? I mean, this is what? That's one, right there.
Yeah, it's less than 25 feet. You can do that. You can move up and you can see the giant fucking spiders.
So the one that was just diplomacied by Arabus, still there?
Yeah, he hasn't gone yet. He is still in the back. The one, he's kind of crouched up. He hasn't really launched out yet. The other one is actively attacking Lizard Man, though he is kind of he's coming to attack Lizard Man, but kind of recoiled a bit and has like his front arms and his little mouth feelers up, almost in a like an intimidating posture. His fangs bared, but not quite striking.
Okay. And I can see that past Lizard Man.
Yeah, the thing's huge. This thing's like 4 feet across.
It's bigger
Oh,
than me.
Jesus. Okay.
This is a Dark Souls spider. Like, this thing is enormous. These are medium. They're in the same size category as you. They are a size category larger than Ara and Selwyn.
Yeah.
They are bigger
Jesus.
than you. They are medium-sized spiders. Like, these things dwarf you. They're enormous.
Excellent.
Imagine living in Galarian.
I'm not having class levels.
Zerg would
Felt
like to.
laugh.
There's a fence in front of me, right?
It's a pretty low fence. It's like not even up to your waist.
Excellent.
It's more like an ornamental fence than it is actually to keep people out.
Keeps
Zerg.
me out.
Would like to use the fence as a launching point to then body slam the spider. Is that possible?
Absolutely.
With 2 actions.
So what we'll say is, what I'll let you do is use that fence as part of your sudden charge to get in here and just land a big natural attack on this spider and still have an action left.
All right. Is that an unarmed strike that I use?
Yeah, unarmed strike. Unarmed strike is just kind
Elbow
of the catch-all
drop.
for any kind of physical bodily attack. Punches,
the
kicks,
people's elbow.
Yeah, that's all. That's all unarmed strikes.
18, 26.
Oh, and he's frightened 1, so that's exactly a critical success.
Oh, wow.
Their AC 17 down to 16 from the frightened condition.
You're
So-
welcome.
Zerg comes flying in onto this spider and roll me your damage.
That's a 6.
So that's gonna be 12. And just with a sickening crunch, he just
Yeah.
crack down on this thing's exoskeleton and like caves the upper part of its body in, smashing it down into the garden, where its legs just up into the air. This leaves you with 1 action, Zerg.
So is that gone? Is the spider removed?
It is unconscious.
It's unconscious.
Like
His
fucking
natural
snap the
attacks
neck.
are non-lethal.
Pretty fucking unconscious.
Super. It's not waking up anytime in the near future. Mega unconscious.
And the other spider is intimidated currently.
It's also frightened. There's a,
Can I throw this spider at that spider?
you can pick up the spider and throw it next turn. But
Okay, all right. So 1 turn remaining. I guess I'd be prone because I body slammed. I'll use my last turn to stand up.
all right, we'll take it. This spider is going to skitter backwards and bury itself further into the corner up against the fence and just kind of raise its little legs in a defensive posture and absolutely not come forward.
I made a terrible mistake.
Lizard man.
So I step over the fence. My foot gets assaulted by needles. I pull the little leaf man over. I bend over to fix the needles. So a blast goes on over my head, and a spider leaps towards me, getting assaulted midair from Zerg, who just flies over my head. I stand back up, look down at Zerg, who gets back up. I'm like, what?
So did you find the honey or what?
Not yet.
Well, I'm hungry. Let's go. What is problem?
And I would try. Can I Are these needles in my foot? Is my foot like going numb? Is it like?
No, it's just kind of itchy. They're just nettles.
It's just a stinging.
Oh,
nettle.
they're just nettles. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
They
if were,
didn't
like,
grow
poisonous or
poisonous
something.
murder plants in their garden. You just had a critically
I
failed
don't know this place.
You
Maybe
critically
the
failed a
plants turned
perception
evil.
check, and I thought it'd be funny. So,
I'm a
Your foot is
poisonous
itchy.
murder plant.
Okay.
Poisonous.
I am
Um,
poisonous.
I would.
I have a new spell.
continue, friend.
I would try and look. I'm gonna try and do a pretty hard look at where the explosion came from above my head and see if I can tell where that was from.
Okay, make a perception check. You go seek the general area around you in a 10-foot burst.
Yes. 17.
With a 17, looking around the door now, you don't see absolutely any signs of anything that was super flammable out here. Nothing stands out to you at all. That said, it did just kind of burn away, so there may be nothing to find here. If you want to investigate that with a second action, give me... What lore do you have?
I have lore circus.
You can give me a society check.
I am a very stupid lizard. I do not know anything.
Well, you can try to think about it, or you cannot. It's up to you. You can try to make a society.
Society check. Okay.
You don't have to be. It doesn't have to be trained.
Curious. I am very curious. Oh, a 10. I rolled 11 and got a -1 to 10.
10. You have no idea why they're storing what appears to be black powder in a mill.
Okay. Weird.
What
And then I'd reach the doorknob. Is this other spot? I don't know. I just like. I'm gonna try the doorknob.
And the door in front of you would, in fact, just open. The garden door is not
perfect.
locked.
It's
You'll
unlocked.
hear a scream of agony in the background.
All right, Ara.
That would be
Ara. Doing.
I'm still very disturbed by this spider.
It's not coming forward. It's not attacking at the moment.
It's not attacking? That's good, because I
It's
am.
definitely just.
I'm just gonna cast Firebolt at it.
Okay. And you.
Of course.
Then it is gonna step into initiative after you.
Yep. That's a crit.
So that's another. Oh, you hate spiders, clearly. What is a firebolt?
Firebolt is 1d4, and it's also gonna take 1d4 persistent fire damage to crit. It's 1d4 plus my my con, my charisma modifier.
What did this? What did this come from?
Firebolt?
Yeah.
I made a ranged strike attack for it, so you wouldn't have a block of text every time I cast a spell.
Oh, but I mean, like, what? Oh, this is your elemental.
This is my spell.
Oh,
This is my
okay.
cantrip.
I thought.
Cantrip.
Oh, yeah, this is your produce flame.
Yeah, produce flame.
Okay, that's how I was
Firebolt.
confused. Because you leveled up, and I thought you got another thing that was called
No,
Firebolt.
no,
Like,
no,
what
sorry.
the fuck new thing did you get to? It was. Okay. Go ahead. You're
I'm
good.
bad at words.
You're
Words
good.
hurt.
You're good. I thought Fireball is a different thing from produce flame.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
I
yeah.
keep hearing fireball.
Yeah, I keep saying
Soon.
Fireball because I can
Soon.
dream.
The little player can
Um,
dream of setting the world on fire. All right, give me your damage.
I rolled a 4 plus the 4 from charisma plus the 1 from my bloodline
He's dead.
power.
He's
Yeah.
dead. That one shots
Yeah.
him. Like, he's
I hate spiders.
Clearly, you walked in and immediately crit both of them. And
Someone call
in the
pest
back,
control.
the firebolt, the produce flame, this little fireball hits right in this thing's face as it's not moving and cowering and just washes over it and incinerates the front half of this spider as it just collapses down, a burnt husk on the ground. That 16 is absolutely going to one-shot it.
You know, Leaf, as a fellow party member of someone who has a druid among their friends, I cannot officially condone that action. However, as a party member who is a rogue, that was fucking cool.
He was
I'll-
leaving. Surrendered.
I'll give like a high five.
Yeah.
There's no high five. He was quitting.
You're right, it's a medium five at best when it's the two of us.
A small 5. What are you talking about?
Ugh.
Does anybody know?
Now I'm pissed, and I'm just gonna wander off.
This.
Right now, we need to deal with the wasps.
I mean, it wasn't technically an animal.
There's still
The
animals you can
monster.
save.
What?
Yeah, there's animals inside. There's wasps. Thousands of them. Probably would at least save 2.
Are we gonna light them on fire too?
They're probably gonna be killing the miller's dog.
Well, let's put it like this, Gray. Either you leave and you save 0 wasps, or you stay and save some wasps. You know, there's only a loss for you here if you leave. Have you seen Circuit Lizard Man? Those people are thirsty for blood. When they find out there's no fucking honey,
What?
That's true. That's a good point, Selwyn. Okay, I stay, but he does that again, I'll kill him.
you know what?
I was
If he-
joking.
Well, if you,
That's a joke.
yeah, I was gonna follow it up. If you do, just give me moments to set up seats, arrangements,
Yeah.
drinks, and get people gathered.
Yep.
Get us grand spectacle of it. Anyway,
Meanwhile,
back in the
Lizard
house.
Man has opened the door. It doesn't appear to be locked at all. You open it, and you behind you, this other spider just gets blown away.
This is an odd day, Zig. Does anybody else know why the general explosions happened over here? I know Arbus was looking. Arbus, do you know why I exploded?
I guess we'll
This
walk
man's
back
kind
to
of
the
yelling
party.
this over as you finish your conversation. Arbus, help.
Do you have some of this black powder?
Oh, it's all over the place.
Does anyone want to make a society check for me? Are
I
any
would
of
not
you
know.
are any of you trained in society?
You think?
No. What would I be trained in?
I
society?
Why would I be? Oh,
There you go.
Oh, Zerg!
Poor Zerg knows.
Don't need to be trained if you just drop a 20 on the table. So, Zerg, inexplicably, is quite familiar with a lot of the inner workings and safety features of a modern milling operation. And the reason this has such a big double door here isn't just to access the garden, it's for airflow. Mills grind grain and corn into an incredibly fine, absurdly flammable powder. And mills burning down is probably the biggest danger they have, much more than losing fingers or hands in the millstone itself. It's the fire. They are phenomenally flammable, and they are built with every precaution in mind to try to keep them ventilated, to keep them cleaned, with precautions in place should the worst happen.
Oh.
Milled grain is ridiculously flammable.
I should probably mention, fire bad. Here, no good fire. Put fire away. I once had to work as bodyguard for mill people, and they tell me, "Don't use fire. Don't use fire." I only burned down like 3 buildings, and they get all upset about it. Anyway, this is the grain. It catch fire, no fire. Don't use it. It's bad.
But I don't have any fire.
That's
And
an
I
issue.
would
I'll look down.
walk in, I guess.
I guess I'll look to the side. Won't even
Seems
look
like an
down.
easy enough thing.
Roll me a perception check, Lizard Man, as you're seeking as you enter here.
Okay, perception check. Come on. Hey, it's a 15.
With a 15, as you enter, you can definitely see an assortment of individual wasps coming and going from underneath the millstone in the center of the room. Below the millstone is this massive shallow pan to catch the milled grain, and in kind of unsettling numbers and with very unsettling frequency, individual or pairs of wasps either crawl out from underneath and buzz off to somewhere else in the building, or show back up and crawl underneath this millstone.
Dig. I think that's where the honey is.
Honey, let's go, finally. About time, huh?
How do we get the wasps out? Can we just like whistle? Are they like?
Well, let's
Aramis,
give
can you
the
whistle?
yeah. Gray, you want to give this a shot?
No, the whistling works every time.
Oh, good. I don't know
Is
how
it?
to whistle though. Can you whistle for me?
You got a lizard. You got lizard
As
lips.
was it. Lizards don't have lips, can't whistle.
Are you inside right now, Lizard?
Am I what?
Inside the house.
Just look right
Yeah,
inside the door.
I,
yeah.
obviously.
I like to sneak over and quietly open the door. Dejected
So,
in sadness.
Yeah, as you come in and sneak up here and turn the latch from the backside to open that door, everyone sort of kind of moves forward here. First, Lizard Man, looking at this, contemplating how he's going to get his honey, sees a couple of the wasps flying over towards this now open double door. And then as the front door opens, more of them headed that way. And then more, and in the span of like a single second, actual waves of wasps are rushing out from underneath the millstone towards the groups of you at the doors.
Arvis?
I'm gonna need some initiative again. Now,
Uh-oh.
So
Oh, there's
Nice
that back-to-back
20.
20s? Jeez.
What a legend.
Nice. That's why I can't select myself.
We're gonna have, it's pretty good too. We're gonna have about a bazillion way tie at 27.
Oh,
Don't worry.
I'm right there with you, man.
Don't. I rolled really good for
We missed.
initiative these past two encounters.
Lizard man. Not on the table.
Oh no, I rolled. Oh no,
She
it's
rolled a 20.
27. It's okay. It's good.
I mean, I can.
Did I? Oh, I did initiative. Did I?
Did you have your token selected?
Either way, 24. Wait, I did.
Yeah, you
Adding
did
Yeah,
you.
it was above.
initiative.
It was above Zergs.
Yeah. you
Yeah, I
rolled
see it, but
initiative.
it's not adding you.
Oh,
Oh.
okay, 28. There we go.
Just keep re-rolling until we all get 20s.
Just keep fishing for 20s.
Jeez.
Okay.
Wow.
Is it 27, 24, or 28?
Put the
Zerg-
average in there.
Zerg
What?
and Lizard
Yeah.
didn't want that honey.
Fucking initiatives, by the way. Everyone who is in the house does not want to be stung by wasps.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
So, Lizard Man, you are up first.
Well, that's exactly.
So there's an
that's a
open
lot
door
of
behind you with
wasps.
Zerg in it. Selwyn opens the front door. The other half of the double door is still closed, but assumedly unlocked like the first one. And just kind of swinging at this point as it latches with the other door.
Push it open. Seems like a good plan.
More space can't hurt.
And
Oh, I can see the swarm now. That's terrifying.
Oh god.
pretty horrifying. This is a bad place.
Ooh, boy.
Wasps.
Defensive. The defensive aura activate.
Yeah, right.
Oh, before anything happens, Arbus, give me... Or I need to do it. What's your nature modifier?
Double check now with the new levels.
I'm going to guess 8.
Yeah, it's 8.
Ooh, I succeeded for you, which is good. Well, they're wasps. You would know that when wasps swarm in such great numbers, there's almost a dual threat here. Both their stingers and their venom in great numbers can absolutely cause anaphylactic shock in humans and kill
boy.
you. Unlike the rat swarms you had fought earlier, against these swarms of incredibly small flying insects, slashing damage is your best friend, not bludgeoning.
Really?
Oh, and it's your time to shine.
You might want to run away and slashing weapons.
Okay. Run away. Gotcha.
Bring them outside.
I'm going to run away.
So you open that
I am
second door by bolting through it.
See on all fours, just
That's
like
a
Just
huge
keep sounding
wave.
skitters.
I guess I'll run outside the door and actually start climbing this wall next to the door.
Quick
Start
poll,
climbing
does
this
everybody
wall.
hear her voice crackling, or is that a weird problem? we
Yes,
have
I hear
as
it
well?
crackling.
Okay,
Yeah, I hear it.
I just want to make sure it wasn't just something with our connection. We'll figure that out for later. Continue. We can
Alright.
still understand you. It's just kind of crackly.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just walk out. I'm just going to start moving up this wall next to the door and see how far I can get.
Make me a climb check. Or athletics. I'll get that someday.
Athletics.
I mean, it is a check to climb.
12.
12 is going to be enough to get on top of your wagon. It's definitely not going to be enough for you to climb up the side of a mill, which is going to be built largely of stone because of the aforementioned flammability. So you scrabble against it, but you can't get in your panic enough of a hold to really get up.
Okay. I guess I have one more action, so I'm going to try again.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Wall. 18.
Let's see. What is that? 18 will do it. So you will get 5 feet up the wall.
Okay.
So we'll just go ahead and we use usually a little wingy for elevation. You're 5 feet off the ground.
Cool.
Selwyn.
Can I intimidate a swarm?
Yes? Because it's immune to, like, single target mental effects, but... No, because you can only intimidate one actual person, so no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Well, outside, close the door.
Alright, you move out and just shut that door immediately. Games we're not playing.
Yeah.
This
that-
one.
And
Just watch through the window.
at least the window hasn't been smashed.
Zerg!
Well, I saw him in action.
Oh, well, I thought you were literally waiting at the window and,
No,
just
I want to
watching
move
it.
over.
Alright. Zerg, then.
Funny you mentioned that. I'm aware slashing damage would be good against a horde of a thing of wasps,
Yeah, because
right?
Aravis calls it out.
Okay. Well, I've only got bare fists. Slashing. Zerg is gonna put his fist through the window.
Okay.
Do I need to roll for that, or are you just gonna let me do that?
Well, you need to go to a window first. You've either got
Oh,
this
I know.
window up above you or this window down to south. This thing next to you is the door.
Oh, right. Sorry, I misunderstood where I was.
You are
Then-
here. This is Zerg.
Oh, never mind. I thought this was a window next to me because I could see in. Is this door?
No,
here?
that's open doors. That's the doors that Lizard
Ah,
ran open.
gotcha.
Who is now climbing up the wall.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then I'll move, and then smash a window.
So you move in. I'm absolutely not going to require a roll to break a commoner's plate glass window. You just punch through the window and grab what I assume is a shard of glass.
Biggest one I could find.
So you one
remains
action
in
move
this-
in, one action break through the window as your third sift through these and come up, aha, with a large dagger-sized,
If that's the size that you'll give me, then let's go with that.
big old glass shard to come wield against this swarm of wasps.
Yeah.
The swarm of wasps is then going to fly over to you because you are in the room smashing windows, and it is aggravated and aggressive. And as it flies over, it is just going to commence with the stinging. So after the first fusillade of wasp stings, they are like orders of magnitude. You never got chewed by the rat swarm. But these are far more deadly. Each of the individual wasps is pretty big. They're like 2-3 inches long. And their stingers poke in and rip through you. You take 8 damage just from the actual stings.
Oof.
And then I need you to make a fortitude save.
Oh wait, I did that wrong. Do I do it like that? Is that good?
If you click on the green bubble and then put -8 in the little text field that pops up and hit enter, it'll do it for you.
Oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
beautiful.
Got him. All right, then make me a fortitude save.
Wait. Nat 20.
Sick! Nat 20.
Wow.
And then as the third action, they sting you some more. You take 3 damage from the stings, and I need another fortitude save. Believe.
21 total.
What a champion. Zerg is immune to poison, clearly. Zerg is absolutely immune to poison. Aravis. The swarm descends on Zerg. And he grabs his shard of glass as he is just covered head to toe in wasps landing, biting, and stinging all over him.
Okay, 2 things. I'm assuming I can't, because you can only diplomate to one person. A swarm is many.
You also would have a hard time defending the swarm. They also
Yeah.
are moving incredibly erratically and aggressively.
Yeah.
And it's a
So,
fairly
it
safe
kinda-
assumption Uva was not wrong. They're being compelled in a similar fashion.
All right. Second question:
I should stop swapping to the level 1 character panes because those are wrong now.
is charm a single target spell?
There's a spell just called Charm.
Yeah.
Targets 1 creature, yes.
So swarm is definitely many creatures.
Yeah, you would all, any of you that have magic would be just aware passively that anything that targets a single creature like that is going to do absolutely nothing to a swarm of wasps. You will at best charm a single wasp.
Okay.
Change them from the inside.
I'm gonna
Sabotage.
See.
I'm gonna move away a little bit to here, and I think it's
Stumble
all,
back over the fence.
they're still kind of, yeah, we're still good. And point out my fingers and try a lightning arc at it.
All Alrighty. I forgot to turn on the Sirenscape sound set. Obviously, we need the wasp sounds.
Oh, God.
Oh,
There
no.
you go. Don't worry, everyone. I got you. So, as a jolt of lightning surges out towards them, they have to make their reflex save. And, oopsies. I put an apostrophe in there with my fat fingers. They are going to succeed. They're going to take half of the 8. You are going to jolt them for 4 damage as it just kind of racks through the swarm. And you can see it takes out a really kind of disappointingly small amount of them.
Uh-oh.
Ara.
So we killing the wasps?
Burn the wasps.
Burn the wasps?
Burn the wasps.
Cool.
Light them up.
I move right here, and I'm gonna cast Burning Hands on the wasp. I think Zerg's out of range of that. It's a 15-foot cone.
He is, in fact, out of range. Right on the edge of it.
Perfect. I like it. So they have to make. Let me get that out of here.
Reflex save, I imagine, again.
Reflex save.
Alrighty. So they are going to critically fail
Oh,
that
no.
reflex save. Could use my villain point Squid Math gave me, but I'm going to hang on to that and let them critically fail. So they're going to take twice as much. Instead of 8, they are taking 16. And beyond that, this cone, this wave of flame, seems to be wildly effective against the swarm of them, taking out a big chunk, doing even more damage than that, since they are weak to area damage.
As I say, add one more. Add my because that's also
They'll
a
also take one
bloodline
more
spell.
point of damage than that.
Yes.
But as this cone of fire erupts from your hands, there's first the gout of magical flame forward, and then a blinding explosion as the flame erupts across the room, igniting the fine bits of milled grain still left throughout the middle of the mill. And I'm going to need a reflex save from Zerg, and also the wasps.
Oh, no.
The wasps are going to succeed. Zerg is going to fail. Zerg, through this quick blast of fire, you are going to take 15 fire damage. And the wasps, half of that. As just, again, a blinding flash fills almost the whole of the room. Lizard man, halfway up the
Lizard.
wall.
I'll fix it.
I just see like fire, like jet engine its way out of the door next to me. Ara
It would just
perfectly
be
fine.
boom out the doorway.
Yeah. Ara.
Honestly,
perfectly
Ara,
fine
you're in
did
range of
not-
this. Ara, you make a reflex save too.
I like making reflex saves.
Oh, don't say that. This is what happens.
You also fail. You also take 15 fire damage.
Yes.
There
Let it
is some
burn.
justice
Maniac
in
is
this
just
world.
within this party.
Let
Let's
it-
burn down a tent.
Let it
Anyway,
burn.
go ahead. Go ahead, Lizard Man. Sorry.
Uh,
So you're kind of like, you're 5 feet up. You're like the top of the door, so you can kind of
Yeah.
like turn and look down through it still.
I poked and looked through it, and I had to move my character a little bit so I can see what's going on here. Okay. What? I would hold. That was a very big explosion because I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here.
All right,
I'm
Selwyn.
holding.
Yeah. I'll look at Lizard. Slashing weapons, right? And move in. And twin feint.
All right, slashy, slashy. Whoo, Selwyn's in there.
Joelyn's doing her best. That's the unarmed, that's not what I need. 25.
25 will hit.
Or 8 slashing.
All right, and you feel as if they are still, like, this still is not a super effective way to deal with these. They're still fairly resistant to that.
Right.
They're going to take less than that.
And another one. 19. Yeah, flat-footed to it.
Is that 19 or is that 15?
Oh, right. Sorry, it is 15. My bad.
15 against their flat-footed is not going to do meaningful damage to them.
And now I'm scared. Kill it, please.
Zerg!
Yeah,
Oh, Zerg, I'm not feeling so good.
Zerg's fucking invulnerable, I'm pretty sure, based on
He's
the events of
strongest
our
man
first
alive.
3
It
sessions.
cannot be killed. This is obviously true. Zerg, first action will just swing with this glass dagger that I have.
Alright, so
Claim.
that is an improvised weapon. So it's going to
Yes.
be probably the same modifier as you're unarmed. It's a simple weapon, you're proficient in it. But it's going to be at a -2 because it's not a weapon. You can't fling it around as effectively as a sword.
That's 22.
22 is definitely going to hit. So D4 plus your strength modifier slashing damage. So I imagine D4 plus 4.
D4 plus 4.
The wasps
yeah.
are getting very angry.
yeah, D4 plus 4.
D4 plus 4, yeah, they do damage.
Oh, that's that then. Oh, but it's
Alrighty.
bludgeoning, so slashing.
Yeah, it's slashing, of course. Oh yeah, so it would just literally be unarmed damage. There you go. So as
Yeah.
you cut through them, you slash away a few with this first swing. It's not terribly effective, but it is like scraping them off of you and defending yourself. I will say that your shard of glass is agile, so you only take a -4 if you want to continue swinging. It's a very light weapon, to be sure.
Swing again. 26.
So -4, 22,
24,
22 again, 22 again, hits.
5 again.
All right, still resisting an amount of that. Some of it's getting through, but not a ton.
Now I would take a further penalty to a third attack, yeah?
Yeah, it'll be -8 now.
Oh, Zerg has been pushing luck. Zerg would like to backflip out the window that he's standing in front of.
All right. Out. Zerg in time. I'll give you this one action. You can safely crawl through the shattered window without taking any further damage. With all of these swings.
I would hop in.
Okay. Lizard man. Then.
So I reach around, grab a claw into the top of the door frame, and then just kind of swing into the room over by Selwyn and go just north, just up here. And then I just start clawing my way through.
Just swinging. Just swinging.
Yeah, here we go. The 25
25 certainly hits.
with 7
And
damage.
with that, as you enter the room here with your 3 actions, swinging and slashing wildly, what do you do? These
Oh,
wasps.
thank God.
Oh. So I swing into the room, and my claws are going, and I'm just kind of frantically waving at these wasps, and the wasps fly out of the window after Zerg realize they're outside and just go whoosh, out away, and I'm like,
Okay, modesty is a virtue and all, but you do kill a fuckload of wasps in that time.
The wind of how fast I'm furiously slashing actually blows them out the window, and then they go, they get dispersed out through.
At the window that Zerg is currently standing in front of?
The
Yeah,
window
but they
does-
went up. Don't worry
But
about it.
they fly past you. And what's left, the remnants of the swarm fly past and just out into the wilds. Gone.
All right, who here hate wasps? I
raise my hand. I look over and just pat out a fire. That was fun.
You're like,
That,
I would like to
Crispy,
destroy inside of
Does anyone
this
smell
mill.
burnt wood?
How much grain was in here?
what's it? It's a whole mill. It's not the grain that's stored. It's just the fine powder that just permeates the whole building that's left over from the millstone process.
Okay, thank God. I thought we ruined the mill.
No, it literally just like mills on a
Yeah,
stone
okay, yeah,
and just
yeah.
slowly falls off into this pan
Yeah.
around it. There's nothing loaded on there right now. Nobody's running this. I mean, it's still turning because the river is still rolling. but nobody's using it at the moment. So it's literally just the fine dust that no longer. You've cleaned their building up for them. Structural damage and burning notwithstanding. I mean, it's
Not
an
gonna look in.
immediate.
I should start charging for pest control services. I killed a spider.
I thought we did. I'll look into the pouch with the coins.
Dig, you're looking awfully crispy.
Oh,
You have a little.
You
And they
probably-
stung me on the tongue.
He's probably fairly swollen from the stinging as well.
They stung me on the tongue, and I was looking.
But look at your muscles.
Ah!
Stronger than ever.
So as you're talking, you hear a voice coming down from the loft above. Very, very muffled. Like
I go up there.
screaming something. But you can't make out what it is at all. And
Oh, I'll sprint.
there, everyone rushes towards the ladder here. This way we will end today's session, I believe. And we can pick up following up on that particular investigation next week. Well, we had a good show. We defeated Ariad. Zerg didn't die. We defeated some wasps. Zerg didn't die again. Zerg may just be the strongest man alive.
Certainly the toughest man.
He is
Yeah.
certainly the immunest to poison man that exists. Like, god damn, the DC was 21 and he hit them both, and that poison fucks.
Oh,
Like-
nice.
What a
Zerg
legend.
also fucks.
Zerg also fucks.
I'm glad we put those points into cards instead of decks.
I fucking love you guys. You're the best. I love this game. So we got our level 2. We've begun our level 2 adventures, at least investigating the first of Abberton's woes here in the mill, trying to figure out what may have happened, and we'll investigate whatever this voice is up top next week. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for hanging out. Thank you for being here with us. We're getting it together. Boys, the audio should be way better today than it has been previously, because I fixed the fucking my drivers that ruined my mic